Hi, welcome back guys. This is your sensei, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Naruto Learned Powerful Genjutsu and Got Harem. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Stupid Uchiha loving teams Naruto thought for the 100th time. The day had been like any other, unfortunately. Flashback. He had arrived in training ground 7 at their usual meeting time as usual. After waiting for a few hours their sensei finally arrived. After they listened to his lame excuse for the day they took a D-ranked mission. How is pulling weeds a mission? Once they had finished, they did an hour of teamwork exercise. Well, Naruto tried to work with them. All he received was insults and punches to the head. Alright, that's enough training for the day, spoke their so-called sensei. Kakashi-sensei, when are we going to learn a jutsu or take a real mission? Asked Naruto. Sorry Naruto, but you're not ready for either. He spoke, never looking up from his book. You need to increase your chakra. How? He insisted. You haven't taught us how. You'll figure it out. Try asking Sasuke or Sakura, they have good chakra control. He answered, or didn't, before he shined away. He turned to look toward his team in hopes of help. Unfortunately they were preoccupied. Sasuke-kun, would you like to go on a date? Asked Sakura. No, he answered before walking away to brood more. I'll go on that date with you, Sakura-chan. Naruto tried. His response was a punch in the head. Why would I go on a date with you, Naruto baka? Turning back she ran after the Uchiha. Wait, he called, stopping her. Do you think you could help me with my chakra control? Why should I help you? She asked. It wouldn't do a dope like you any good. You were a failure in the academy and you'll be a failure as a ninja. With it she walked off, leaving a hurt Naruto. Flashback end. As the memories continued to replay in his head he came upon his destination. It was one of his favorite spots, a safe haven. It was one of the few he had away from the hateful villagers. It had a waterfall that flowed into a river that reached his knees. He would often fish here when he couldn't afford Ikaraku ramen. There was an empty field with a bit of wildlife. The field also held an array of plants and berries he liked ate. His favorite part was the large and deep cave behind the waterfall. The water came inside, making a little pool. The rest was a dry place to rest. He would often hide or camp here when he needed or wanted to. It was partly because of this place he hadn't starved. Why, he had shelter when his home was wrecked by villagers. A home from home. He even had a small family here. Hey, I'm here, he called. As soon as the words left his mouth he felt 4 light impacts to his chest. They didn't hurt, but it was enough to knock him over. As he tried to straighten himself out he felt as they crawled around inside his jumpsuit. He quickly pulled them out and set them down. Not even a hello before you go looking for treats, he asked in mock hurt. When they lowered their heads in shame he smirked. Reaching into his pocket he pulled out a few pieces of dried fish. Once they laid eyes on it they dove for it. He sighed happily as he watched them eat. Foxes. It was ironic that they were his closest family. After the Kyuubi attack, foxes were illegal in Konoha. Most people would just kill them out of spite. That made it hard for them to survive since the villagers hated them. Not him. He happily did his best to help take care of them since they were alike. Hated for something they had no control over. The oldest female was the mother. Her name was Aki for her constant autumn coat. The oldest male was the father. His name was Jin for the patch of silver on his head. It was more pronounced thanks to his black fur. The youngest son took after the father. His fur was black with a silver collar. That's how he got the name Ariko. The older sister was an enigma. She didn't take after either parent. Her fur was a constant snow white. He decided to call her Midori thanks to her grass-green eyes. He then undressed as he laid himself into the stream. Bracing his feet into the rocks he closed his eyes and relaxed. This way he wouldn't float but stayed relaxed. He felt the foxes lay down beside him. He loved the flow of the water on his body, the feel of nature to his senses, the peace of seclusion. It was here that he could let his mask drop. It's right over here, girls, came an unfamiliar female call that was heading toward him. That's just not fair, he growled. He quickly grabbed his clothes and started putting them on. Once Naruto was dressed he moved deeper into the cave with the foxes. It was one of the problems with being here. The place was practically boxed off. Once inside there was only exit. Unfortunately one way was occupied by whoever they were. He didn't want to have a run-in with whoever they were. Something told him they were ninja. He was always good at telling who was a civilian or not. These were definitely not. He sat and waited. See, I told you, this entire place is great. And you're sure this place is away from perverted eyes? Positive. I'll even have the triplets scout the area while we're here. Relax, Nai-chan. If there are any perverts we'll give them the beating of a lifetime. That doesn't stop them, and I think some are enjoying it. Okay, there are 4 women, most likely Kunoichi. Then there are the triplets, maybe pets. He decided to move further into the cave. He really didn't want to be seen. Unfortunately our blonde ninja forgot his bright attire. Hey, who's there? Show yourself. What's wrong, Anko? Stay calm, maybe they didn't see me. I saw a hideously orange color. I think someone's in there. Darn it. Come on out. Hana, think the triplets can drag them out. No need, he called. He took a deep breath and allowed his mask to reform as he motioned for the foxes to hide. Then slowly and cautiously he made his way out. As he stepped out he saw who caught him. Who are you, Gaki? Asked the one closest. Naruto Uzumaki, future Hokage, spoke on instinct and you are. I'm the sexy and single Anko Mitarashi the first spoke snake mistress of Konoha. I'm Yugao Yuzuki Kenjutsu mistress of Konoha came the second. I'm Kurenai Ui the now named Anko seemed to urge her for more Genjutsu mistress of Konoha she continued with a sigh. I'm Hana and Yuzuka started the last the second hound princess of Konoha. Yugao was a woman with purple, violet hair that came to her waist and chocolate brown eyes. She seemed to be wearing reddish-purple lipstick. She was wearing standard A and BU clothing. Something about her seems familiar. Kurenai had long, black wavy, shoulder-length hair. She seemed to be wearing an outfit that looked to be made of bandages. Her hand and upper thighs were wrapped in the same material. Her eyes were what stood out the most to Naruto. They were an odd but truly beautiful shade of red. She seems familiar as well. Anko had light brown, pupil-less eyes. Her hair was black with a tint of violet, styled in a short, wild ponytail. She was wearing a tan trench coat and a mesh bodysuit under it. Over it was a dark orange mini skirt. Never seen her before. Hana had long brown and a ponytail with two locks hanging in front of her face. Her eyes were an average black. She had a light shade of pink-red lipstick and unusual markings. She was wearing a beige medic uniform. Those markings mean that she's related to Kiba. Their headbands proved what he feared. They were all Kunoichi. What are you doing here? Are you spying on us? Asked Yugao. He didn't answer. How about we play with him? Offered Anko. We won't go all out, just teach him a lesson for what he's done. Anko, he's just a genin, stated Yugao. If he doesn't learn his lesson now he could grow to be worse than Jiraiya, stated Kurenai. None of them could deny that. Besides, he'll just heal. The truth was she didn't care about that. She just wanted the boy to suffer for what he did. Tell your friends to come out as well, ordered Hana. What friends? I'm here alone. He lied. My companions here say they smell others, stated Hana. Bring them put or they'll be dragged out. Naruto stood defiantly. Just do it, Hana called Anko. The Gaki is too stubborn to listen. With just a gesture one of the triplets were making their way toward the cave entrance. Not wanting his friends hurt, Naruto stood in front of the approaching canine. He glared at the dog with such intensity that it actually started to whimper. After a few more seconds he ran back behind Hana and his siblings. Anko, seeing the distraction, decided to have a little fun. She threw a kunai. Thanks to all of his years of living through the hate of Konoha, Naruto gained an extra sense. It was one that warned him of danger. It was warning him now. Ducking his head he avoided the kunai. As he stood right he felt slender but powerful arms wrap around his neck holding his head still. Struggle as he might he couldn't get free. Hold him tight, Anko, he heard one of the women shout. The triplets will drag whoever's in there out. Wait, he begged. He didn't want his only friends to be hurt because of him. Don't hurt them. Them? Asked Kurenai. Go got them boys, ordered Hana. As the triplets closed in on the entrance Anko decided to have a little more fun. Whoever is in there is in for a world of pain. Leaning toward his ear she whispered, right ... Foxy-kun. At hearing the name his blood ran cold. They know about Kyuubi. That's why they're here. It was replaced by boiling rage. Using what little chakra control he had he directed it to his arms. With all the power he could muster, he pried Anko's arms open. He broke free. Spinning in a full 180 he kicked Anko in the stomach. The blow didn't harm her but it was enough to stun her. To say the Kunoichi and dogs were shocked would be an understatement. Anko was a jounin, a special jounin perhaps, but a jounin all the same. To see a mere genin force his way free was truly amazing. Putting his hands in a cross form he shouted his signature technique, Shadow Clone Jutsu. At the name 10 solid clones appeared. They took a protective stance in front of the cave. So the little Gaki wants to play, huh? Asked Anko. Well, let's play. Charging forward, Naruto threw 2 exploding tags toward the women. As they scattered to avoid the explosion, the clones charged. This is getting out of hand, spoke Yugao as she dodged another kunai. We have to restrain him. They nodded in agreement. Hey, run, Hana called. You're not the only with moves. Weaving her clan's hand signs she called. Man, beast, clone. At the name the brothers jumped to her side and went up in smoke. When they were visible it was revealed that they took her form. After weaving more signs they all dropped to all 4. Ninja art, beast mimicry, all 4's jutsu. They charged forward before jumping into the air. Multi-fang over fang. All 4 Hanas began to spin, taking a blurry, driller-like form. The attacks then began to rotate around each other as they charged forward. They tore through the clones. Naruto saw the direction of the attack. They were heading toward the caves. He knew what he had to do. Thinking he would just jump out of the way, the Hanas pressed the attack. To her surprise he only put his arms up to defend himself and stood defiantly. He'll move, she thought, as did the rest. He'll move. He'll jump away. Move already. He didn't. Move, Yubaka, Hana called, but he didn't, and it was too late to stop their attack. Each Hana hit Naruto full on. They tore through his clothes and his body. He fell to his knees bleeding. Once the attack ended, the real Hana turned to ask why he took the attack. Or at least she tried to. As soon as she turned she saw a kunai fly past her, a kunai with a tag. Each Hana barely had enough time to cover themselves in a coat of chakra. It was enough to save them from the explosion. The blast knocked them each far back in a different direction. They transformed back and were unconscious before they hit the dirt. Naruto would have continued if it weren't for Anko. Striking shadow snakes. Multiple snakes ejected themselves from Anko's sleeve. Turning, he was able to see the attack, but not dodge. The snakes each coiled around his limb and various parts of his body. Each snake then latched onto Naruto with their fangs. He felt the burning sensation as the venom spread through his body. The poisons in these snakes aren't lethal, but they do cause great pain, stated Anko cheerfully. To her continued amazement, Naruto had more surprises. Using his very will and chakra, he moved his hands together. She herself added chakra to strengthen her technique, but it wasn't enough. Not when facing a host of a tailed beast. This Gaki has more chakra than even me. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Summoning 4 clones, he smirked. Kurenai Genjutsu ordered Yugao now. Kurenai began weaving. They each drew a kunai and cut through the snakes, freeing the original. They gave a cry as they rushed forward. Anko drew another 2 kunai and took aim. Not know which was the real one, Anko threw them toward non-lethal spots. They both hit their mark. The first hit a clone, dispelling it. The second hit Naruto in his upper leg. It embedded itself deep, drawing blood. The pain was only intensified from the venom. Anko cried, Kurenai, you stopped my Genjutsu before it set in. Oops, sorry about that, Nai-chan apologized the sheepish snake mistress. He continued forward, not even losing speed, with only a limp and slight flinch to show he was hurt. The remaining 2 of them proceeded to henge into demon windmill shurikens. Looking at his opponents, he took aim. Need to get rid of the biggest threat. With a spin to build up momentum, he threw it with all his might. It flew past the snake mistress and the Genjutsu mistress. He was aiming for Kurenai. She had to admit she was impressed. Naruto was holding his own. He even managed to take out Hana and the triplets. Turning her head, she let the giant weapon fly past her. She never noticed it graze her cheek. But it's not enough. The shadow windmill henge flew right past her, lodged itself into a tree. It dispelled itself a second after contact. Take Kurenai, asked a hesitant Yugao, are you okay? In her confusion, she felt a warm moisture drip down her cheek. Bring her hand out, she felt the spot and pulled her hand back. There was a light stinging sensation. She looked at her hand, blood. That henge, ... it was real. She stated in shock. A real illusion ... that should be completely impossible. Even some of the greatest Genjutsu users in the world can't make a real illusion. Naruto prepared the second shuriken. As he prepared to throw it, something clamped down and stopped his arm. Painfully, it caused him to drop and dispel his clone. Looking at what stopped him, he saw that one of the triplets had lashed its fangs around his arm. He felt a second latch onto his one of legs. The final blow came from Hana herself. She tackled Naruto from behind, pinning him under her legs. She held a kunai to his throat, forcing him to be still. I've had enough of this, she snarled. We'll find out who you're hiding. As soon as the words left her mouth, the final brother stepped forward, out of the cave. What Naruto saw in the dog's mouth horrified him. It made his blood go cold in his very veins. It was the foxes. The dog was dragging their bodies out by their tails. No ... I know, he pleaded. This can't be happening, not them. Naoki, Jin, Eriko, Midori. When they didn't respond, his fear was taken. In its place, he was given hatred. It was raw and uncontrolled hatred. It was so much that he even started to pull on chakra from the Kyuubi. This isn't good, the Kunoichi thought as one. They didn't know what to do as they watched the red chakra become visible. All they wanted to do was punish a pervert. Now things were truly out of hand. He knocked Hana and the 2 triplets off just by simply standing. There were burn marks on them as well from Kyuubi's corrosive chakra. He dashed toward the family of foxes. When the remaining triplet saw the approaching Naruto, it dropped the foxes and fled. As he knelt down to them, he calmed himself down. The Kyuubi's chakra began to disappear. He was angry, but he wasn't blind. He saw what had happened to Hana and her dogs. Come on guys, get up, he pleaded. He wanted his family to be okay. Come on, you guys are all I have. They didn't move, they all just laid there, unmoving and lifeless. He reached for them but pulled back when his blood fell on them. He didn't want to let Kyuubi's influence touch them. He turned his attentions back to his attackers. They flinched at the level of hate in his glare. He felt both his rage and Kyuubi's chakra return, with a vengeance. It was more potent. You could even see a fox head grin at them. Damn it, he's drawing on the fox and Hana is out. No choice. Everyone, we need to end this. No more holding back, spoke Kurenai. I need a distraction. Come on, Naruto shouted, I'll take you all on. Anko went first. Jumping high into one of the trees, she yelled. Multiple striking shadow snakes. As the name said, multiple snakes flew toward him, much more than the first time. However, they weren't aimed for him. They were aimed for the foxes. He rushed back to their side to take the blow. As the snakes hit dead on, it seemed that the masses of them consumed Naruto and the foxes. With a mighty roar, he sent out a shock wave of chakra. It tore through the mass of snakes, leaving only shreds behind. He stood under their falling parts, not losing an ounce of hate. Not even uttering a command or forming signs, a clone popped into existence. As soon as it formed, it became another windmill shuriken. Giving a mighty heave, he threw it toward Kurenai. She made to dodge it but didn't count on its angle. To her surprise, it turned as she did, cleaving her in half. Kurenai, cried Yugao in disbelief before schooling herself. Your ambu, so control yourself. Yugao, cried Hana. They could use some help now. Running forward, the Genjutsu mistress performed her namesake. As she came in range, she raised the weapon high in the air. She intended to knock him unconscious with her sheath. As she came into striking distance, Naruto made his move. Stretch his arm out, he grabbed her arm. Adding pressure to her wrist, he forced her to lower her sword, but she didn't drop it. But it was enough. Grabbing the sheath, he yanked it free. Holding the blade's sheath, he took a stance. He then started hacking away at her, or would have. Thanks to years of practice she was ready. She was able to dodge or block every single strike. His stance and form are great, she thought, for an amateur. He must have a great teacher. If only she knew. Unfortunately, it was because of that experience that she did what she did. Out of pure instinct, she dropped back and lashed at him. She cut him across the eye, causing a short grunt, probably ruining it permanently. But it didn't stop him. He was too angry to feel any pain. Not that he would have anyway. He stopped suddenly. Something was holding him in place. Looking at his restraints, he saw vines. He struggled against them. He even hit them with the sheath, but they just carried him off the ground. Now he had no leverage. String bean bind illusion. Looking toward the one who named the attack, he saw a giant bean pod. As it opened, Kurenai stepped out. This is a Genjutsu from the Kurama clan. You won't be getting out that easily. What are you doing? Asked an aged but powerful voice. Release him. They turned to the source of the voice. Standing before them was the Hokage, and he was angry. Kurenai stepped forward. Hokage-sama, She was cut off. That was an order, he stated. She did as she was told. As soon as he was free, he charged Kurenai. With a powerful jab, he struck her in the stomach with the sheath. He continued charging, painfully pushing Kurenai along the dirt. Coming to a sudden stop, he drew the sheath back. Kurenai dropped to her knees, gasping in pain. Raising the sheath, he brought it down across her face. She was out cold as she hit the ground. He prepared another strike when he felt the familiar sensation of fangs biting into him. We're done here, Gaki, stated Anko. Dropping the sheath, he grabbed two of the snake. With a might heave, he pulled Anko free from the tree, but he didn't stop there. He kept pulling, and with a spin he aimed her. She crashed face first into the down Hana. Turning, he looked toward Yugao. And then there was one. He stated coldly. That won't be necessary, Naruto-kun. Turning to the voice, he saw a rush of red and white. 5-pronged seal. He felt an intense pain in his stomach where he had been struck. As the chakra faded, so did his consciousness. After removing the seal from Naruto, they stood outside of the hospital room. Inside was Naruto resting after the ordeal. The doctors had checked him over. They say he'll be up in the morning. He doesn't need this. He had allowed his surrogate grandchild the secret. Hiruzen was always aware of Naruto's comfort spot. It had kept him sustained, so he saw no reason he couldn't have it. It was out of the way, so Naruto had all the peace he could want or need. Until now, it was a good thing he made regular checkups on him. Of all the irresponsible and stupid, Harented, the four Kunoichi stared at their village leader. They felt an immeasurable amount of shame from their action. Do any of you have anything to say? He asked. They each flinched at his cold tone. They were used to their kind and soft-spoken leader's warm tone. Not this cold tone that could cut even steel. I have never felt this disappointed in you three, he stated, you two especially. He pointed to Anko and Yugao. What do you? Asked Hana, but was stopped by his glare. Yugao, you used to protect him as his personal ambu guard when he was a child, the only one that would. He whispered the last part. Why, it was true. All of the other ambu would sit back and let the civilian and ninja beat on Naruto. On many occasions they would often join in. She was the only one that would save him, both on and off duty. I am sorry, Hokage-sama, was all she could say. You will turn in your mask. You are on suspended, he stated. You will return to regular duty as a jounin. I understand, she stated. Anko, you know his pain. It was all he said, causing her to reach for her neck. It was all he needed to say. Anko wasn't very well liked in the village thanks to her sensei. She was used by him, blamed for all of his crimes. She even had a burden that ... she never wanted. Now here was one of the few people that accepted her, now utterly ashamed of her. She couldn't feel lower. Hokage-sama, they would start but never finished. They were too ashamed. Anko, I was going push to let become a full jounin, but for now you will remain a special jounin. He stated. Hana, you will be put on leave from the vet and your mother informed. Kurenai, you and your genin team will be receiving the most humiliating D-ranked missions for half pay. How long, Hokage-sama? Asked Hana. The Hokage Hiruzen saw Naruto by side. He leaned back as disappointment replaced the anger. The years became visible on the powerful leader. Until Naruto forgives all four of you, he answered, not a moment sooner. Understood, Hokage-sama, they stated in unison. Be in my office first thing in the morning. With nothing left to say, he left via Shunshin. They all walked home to wait for him to regain consciousness. They needed to find a good way to apologize. They planned and worked the remainder of the day away. The next day, Hiruzen made his way toward the hospital only to find Naruto asleep. He waited but not long. When he awoke, he only asked, Am I in heaven or hell? Neither, you're alive, Hiruzen answered. How do you feel? Okay, good, come with me. He grabbed Naruto Shunshine to his office. When Naruto looked around, he found himself surrounded by his attackers. They expected him to shout out, attack, or even panic. He did none of these, he only looked at them. Who ordered you to kill me? He asked so offhandedly it scared them. What? Asked Kurenai. Don't play dumb, was it the shinobi or the civilian council? He snapped. Neither, Anko answered. Does it happen so often that he can be so casual? I would be out for blood. So you all just hate me as well? He simply stated. No, shouted Yugao, none of us have anything against you at all. Right, girls? They all agreed. Then why? He growled. Why attack me? Why kill my only piece? Why kill them? The foxes? Asked Hana. Yes, he answered blankly. They aren't dead, she stated. When I found them, they were healed to near full health. I healed them the rest of the way. She added proudly. Why? He asked in shock. How? We and Yuzuka don't hurt K9 if we can avoid it. What she and her companions did to the foxes have shamed her so much. Her mother was so angry that she took the triplets from her until the Hokage's punishment was over. She even made Hana go back to help the foxes. That's how she knew they were alive. She is telling the truth, Naruto stated. Their leader, it seems that when your blood fell onto them and has some healing properties, we will have to do some tests later. Please hear them out. Thank you, he stated. They are very important to me. When Hana took a discreet look at the Hokage, she asked with her eyes, did I do good? The glare he gave was all the answer of a hell no. We don't hate you, Naruto, not for the ... your problem, stated Kurenai, hoping to avoid mentioning the Kyuubi. That's why we're here to apologize for what we did. Furball has brought me a lot of hate. I'm used to it, he stated. I do want to know why though. We thought you were a pervert, stated Anko. We have a history of being violent with perverts. It's true, thought hers, and some of those poor souls never made it home. However, the ones that did never peeked again. Except Jiraiya, not even Tsunade could stop him. That's a relief, and I agree wholeheartedly with your actions, stated Naruto cheerfully, shocking the Kunoichi. Hey old man, can I go now? The Kunoichi were shocked at the complete emotion change, even more so that he had forgiven them. Are you saying you forgive us? Asked Yugo. Yep, just like that, he forgave us just like that. He's so different from what the reports say, thought Kurenai before realization hit. He's wearing a mask. She looked toward her friend Anko, just like Anko. Wait, I have something for you. Reaching into this desk drawer, he pulled out a few sheets of paper. This is the deed to 3 acres of land, so you are now the sole owner of that area. He held up a second sheet. This is a copy just in case. Can you guess the center of those 3 acres? The happiness in Naruto was indescribable. He was being given the land that had been like a home to him, and more, so much more. There was only one way he could properly thank his leader. Thank you, Hokage-sama, spoke Naruto through a deep bow. To say that Sarutobi was shocked was an understatement. Naruto, as in Naruto Uzumaki, had been respectful. He quickly recomposed himself before sadly asking, this isn't going to happen often, is it? No way, old man, shouted Naruto, just on special occasions. It was good to dream, mused the leader, but I'll get him to give me proper respect one of these days. The aged leader swore. Well, I'll see you later. Opening a window, the blonde boy jumped out. His shouts of happiness could still be heard from inside. The leader turned back toward the Kunoichi. Well, he asked, get out there and apologize, he ordered, but she was stopped by his glare. Not good enough. His tone ran them right out of the window behind Naruto. I meant through the door, he whispered to himself. Reaching into his desk, he pulled out his crystal ball. He would make sure that they properly did as he ordered. If it happens to get me out of doing paperwork, then it's that much better. Naruto couldn't be happier. Even the glares from the villagers couldn't bring him down. He finally had something that was his and couldn't be taken by the villagers. He saw his teammates come into view. Even their sensei was there. I must be late. He decided to hide the deed to his sanctuary. Better safe than sorry, he thought as he placed it in his pouch. Hello, Kakashi-sensei, Sakura-chan, team. He greeted. Baka, you're late, she screeched as she punched Naruto in the head. And don't talk about Sasuke-kun like that. That is starting to get annoying, he thought. Why are you late, Dobe? Asked the Uchiha. Because of you I couldn't get a mission. You also missed team practice, spoke their sensei, never looking from his book. It's not good for a shinobi to be late, Naruto. Now that is the pot calling the kettle black. Answer me, Dobe, ordered the Uchiha. If you must know, team. Baka punch. I was in the hospital. Well, since you missed the mission and training, the day is over. Probably tripped and fell on your own kunai. He spoke before walking off, missing Naruto's smirk. I got into a fight with a few jounin, he retorted, much to Sasuke's ire. There is no way a dead last like you could fight anyone, he snapped. Yeah, Naruto, Baka screeched the howler monkey. Only Sasuke-kun can fight a jounin, so stop lying. Actually, a calm voice and tone. He worked us over pretty good, even if we were holding ourselves back. Was the Uchiha's reply. Why are you 4 here? Asked Kakashi, putting his book away. He'd read in front of 1 or even 2 of them, but not all 4. We want the boy, stated Kurenai with a bit of an edge after seeing the book. More training, spoke the Uchiha, stepping forward. Perfect. Not you, we want Naruto-kun, stated Hana. Why are they calling him kun? Why would you want that, Baka? Screeched Sakura. Sasuke-kun is so much better in every way. But he's mine. I'll shut her up before I go, death begged Hana. Her enhanced hearing were driving her crazy. Let's go, Naruto-kun called Yugao. I demand to know what you want with that Dobe instead of me, an Uchiha, an elite, ordered an arrogant Uchiha. He froze when he felt the cold steel of a kunai against his neck. You think you can give us demands, eh? Asked Anko as she cut his cheek and licked his blood before spitting it out. Oh, that is the foulest blood I've ever tasted. Hey, you get away from my Sasuke-kun, screeched Sakura, and his blood is not foul, it's amazing. I wonder what yours is like, she spoke, freezing Sakura. Let's find out, she said, taking a threatening step forward. What? She looked around to see her sensei wouldn't help and Sasuke frozen. Only the Baka smirking inwardly, she put on her most pitiful face. You wouldn't let them hurt me, would you, Naruto-kun? He only stared at her. Save me already, you Baka. Tell these husses to get lost. Please leave Sasuke and Sakura alone. Kakashi finally spoke. I need my best students in full health, he said, ignoring Naruto's feelings. Fine, sighed a mock depressed Anko, but I'll get her blood, she vowed to herself. Yugao grabbed onto Naruto and the 4 kunoichi shunshined away. They arrived inside an empty training area. Whoa, what was that? Can you teach me? He asked. The kunoichi stared at him. Even through his mask they could see he wanted to learn. A kid will always be a kid. Drop the mask, Gaki ordered Anko. Anko, that's Yugao started. I'll drop mine if you drop yours, he stated, gaining a shocked glare from Anko. Not many could see through hers but her friends and those with a similar mask. Naruto-kun, we as in Anko, Yugao, Hana and I feel awful about yesterday. Kira and I motioned to each, so we want to make it up to you, each of us. If it's out of pity then save it, he stated coldly. I don't need pity from anyone. It's not, Gaki stated Anko, we don't do anything out of pity. That earned her a smile, a real smile. Where shall we? Hana was cut off by a deep rumble sound. It seemed to echo from Naruto and cause him to shake. Was thaw, was that your stomach? Anko asked in disbelief. Naruto had actually blushed from it. Well, I haven't eaten since yesterday, he answered sheepishly. How about buying me some food? He missed Anko's smirk. Here is a perfect chance for me to pay him off. I'll be a full jounin in no time. Well, Gaki, if you're hungry, let me introduce you to the greatest food ever made, she said with stars in her eyes. But I already know about ramen. Ramen, I'm talking about dango. Her mouth watered. The food of the gods. Ramen is the broth of truth and the noodles of hope. You poor misguided soul, she said with a shake of his head. Reaching into her trench coat she pulled out a hissing snake. Allow me to convert you with pain. The three remained kunoichi watched in amusement as they went back and forth. They were a bit upset at the fact that Anko took the first chance of forgiveness, but the show mostly made up for it. They decided to stop things before they escalated to another brawl. Anko, put the snake away. Naruto, no clones, ordered Yugao. How about we eat the ramen, offered Kurenai, receiving a betrayed glare from Anko. We eat dango so often, we need a change. She then gained a mischievous smile. You did say you were paying. To Ikaraku, shouted Naruto, dragging the four kunoichi. 18 bowls of ramen later, Anko was crying over her wallet. He's still going, she mentally shouted. Where is he putting it all? It also didn't help that she was paying for her friends as well. Yep, another bowl, Nichan. He froze when he saw the look in her eyes. The crazy snake lady is paying. Let me guess, you offered to pay for the whole meal, didn't you? Asked Iame, the ramen cook's daughter. Yes, she answered, ignoring the snake lady name. Naru-chan, you aren't going to break this nice lady's wallet, are you? He froze at the accusation. Crap, I've been found out. As the sweat poured down he remained silent. Hey, no, nothing like that at all. That's good to hear. Tuchai spoke in his usual cheerful tone. It's good to see him with some friends and such beautiful ones at that. He eyed Naruto. I'd hate to ban him for being ungentlemanly. It's okay. Gaki here earned it, grinned Anko, leaning her impressive bust onto his head. Surely Naruto-kun brings team at least, asked Hana, noticing him tense. Naruto-kun, huh? When did my number one customer become a player? Tuchai asked, ignoring the question. It's not like that. They're just treating me as an apology for a misunderstanding, he answered. What happened? He asked, interested. We accused him without any evidence and were punished for it, Yugao answered, causing the four kunoichi to away ashamed. How would you ladies like to know a secret about Naru-chan's whiskers? Iame asked in a mischievous way. This gained the interest of all the kunoichi. Noni-chan, he begged. Just give them a rub, spoke Tuchai before walking into the back, ignoring Naruto's call of traitor. Wait, if you don't do it I'll pay for my own meal, he pleaded. Not happening, Gaki. Hana, hold him down, Anko ordered sadistically. Wait, Anko, I think you should take him up on that. Reason, Hana, just look at how much he ate. As she looked at the piles of ramen bowls her wallet started to feel very small. He had somehow eaten another 19 bowls. When did I do you? How did I do you? She looked him in the eyes. Why? You shouldn't turn your back on me, he chided. Remember, I'm the prankster from hell for a reason. Fine then, she growled, pay for your own meal. Look like I'll be a special jounin for a little longer. After an extra 2 bowls, Naruto paid for himself and the kunoichi. Kurenai's turn. Since you are a genin, we've decided to take you shopping for proper clothes. A real shinobi would never be caught dead in that monstrosity. They heard him mumble something under his voice. Could you please speak up? We can't hear you, Yugao requested. It's all the villagers let me buy. He repeated, they either sell me out of date or ruin stuff for over double the price, usually both. Anko lowered her head in understanding. She went through the same thing when her sensei left the village. No one wanted to do business for the snake whore. His mask jumped back on. It's not all bad. I actually like orange. I know a place that will sell to you. It's where I persuaded Anko to go. It's a shinobi-only store, so you can get clothes and weapons, but not food or household items, spoke Kurenai. Where is it? What's it called? Can you show me? He asked almost desperately. Come on. Grabbing his arm she sunshined them away. They reappeared in front of the shop. It was a wide one-story building with several wide windows. A symbol of a Chinese dragon coiling around a leaf sat on the center of the roof. There was one thing that really caught Naruto's attention. One of the windows were boarded and it looked as if it had been boarded several times. This is the leaf dragon, stated Anko. You can get anything for a shinobi here or have it custom made, be it clothes and weapons to fighting styles and low mid-level jutsu. Walking inside they were greeted by the owner standing behind a counter. He was a tall man with strong-looking hands and arms. He seemed to be going gray but gave off the power of a man in his prime. He watched each customer with a calculative eye. There was a long scar running down his cheek. A new customer, huh? He asked, who are you and what can I get you? Cough demon, cough brat, one of the customer hinted, not too subtly. Instantly Naruto turned to leave but was stopped by a hand on his shoulder. Surprisingly, it wasn't from either of the kunoichi. The hand was from the owner. "Excuse me a second, sir." He spoke kindly. "This is going to be good," giggled Anko. The owner calmly reached over the counter to the one that had broken the third's law. Grabbing him by the scruff of his neck, he hurled the man out the boarded window. Reaching under his counter, he easily pulled out a large twin-headed axe. "Does anyone else want to insult my customer?" he asked menacingly. "I have plenty of windows." Silence. No one was crazy enough to say anything. A few people did leave quietly. "They'll be back. They always come back." He ran one of the best shinobi stores in the village. "Naruto, this is Deki. He did the same for me the first day," spoke Anko. "Perfect shot." "Doesn't look like it," spoke Hana. "You missed the center." "Wasn't aiming for the center. There was a rusty nail sticking out." He grinned. "Like I said," gloated Anko. "Perfect shot." "Now what can I get you?" he asked Naruto. Naruto was in a state of shock. Not only was this man allowing him to shop here, he had protected him. "We want to get rid of this." She motioned to his jumpsuit and make him look like a proper shinobi. "But leave some orange. He seems to like it." "All right, kid," he spoke. "Strip and spread," he ordered in a serious but slightly dark and sadistic tone. "What?" cried Naruto, ready to jump out the newly opened window. "Wait," Naruto shouted Yugao over Deki and Anko's laughter. "I need to take proper measurements," he said after calming down from his laughing fit. "Your jumpsuit is too bulky." "That's just how he pranks new customers," spoke Kurenai before sending him a glare, and speaks to his longtime customers. "You think you would have learned after all of the people you've run off or the kunoichi who have attacked you?" chastised Hana. "This means war," spoke Naruto low and sinisterly. He was the king of all pranksters in Konoha. He would not be a prank victim without retribution. No one pranks the prankster from hell and gets away with it. Now Deki paled. He had heard how Naruto pranked people for revenge. They would always be remembered for their high degree of humiliation. No one shakes a bee's nest without getting stung, he thought. "Wait, I'm sure we can reach an agreement." Deki spoke, sweating heavily. "I'm listening. I have an elite set of training weights in the back," he hurried. "They only need chakra, so you won't have to take them off during battle." He explained, "They're yours ... for half off." "I need to eat too." Naruto's mouth was watering at the prospect of those training weights. He could train at all times while doing the simplest of tasks. "I'll get stronger in no time, believe it." "Deal," he spoke with his best poker face. As Naruto had his measurements taken, a thought occurred to him. It had been bugging him since they had picked him up from his team. They had given him an answer, but now he wanted the whole truth. Once the measurements were finished, Deki went to the back. He chose that moment to ask, "Why are you all doing this for me?" He asked. "I told you that I forgave each of you in the old man's office, so I want the real reason." "We told you, You're lying," he stated. "I know when I'm being lied to." "We ... felt sorry for you," Anko answered before mentally kicking herself. It was half true, but if he is anything like me, he'll. Not even getting a chance to finish her thought, he starts speaking. "Pity, you did this all out of pity." He was already walking put the door before he was pulled back. "Naruto, I think you should know the whole truth," stated Yugao. They told him everything. How the third Hokage ordered an apology. How he demoted them until was fulfilled. Everything. "I see," he stated calmly. "I'll tell him I forgive you and you can go back to your lives. You won't have to bother with me again," he whispered the last part sadly. "No," stated Anko. "What?" he asked, confused. "Isn't this what they want?" "I said no," she repeated. "I am going to apologize properly. Tell me what you want." "You don't need to," he stated. "I said tell me," she hissed. "Do you want money, Jutsus? Do you want someone dead?" she thought. "Do you want me to sleep with you?" "No, maybe and no," he stated. "I don't want you to do something out of." He was stopped by a hard slap across the face. Deki, who had returned, thought that will leave a mark. He had no idea what was happening. He just knew it would be best to stay out of sight. "You asked me to drop my mask, right? Well, here," she stated. "Look at me." He did. He looked her in the eyes. He saw everything, her pain and regret. There was the fear that it would never end. It was all being held on a small line of hope. "Your eyes are just like mine," he stated. "Yes," she admitted, "just not as intense as yours. Not far behind." "Naruto, I ask you again, what do you want?" He knew what he wanted. It's something he had been denied since the academy. "Do you all feel this way?" he asked, receiving a yes from them. "Train me in your arts so that I can be powerful." "That's all, Gaki," she asked. "We can get plenty of jutsu scrolls for you." "No, I want you all to train me, not buy me off." "Can you do that?" he asked. "Do this for me and we're even. If not, I'll still tell the old man I forgive you." "There aren't many ninjutsu or taijutsu we can teach you," spoke Yugao. "I know," he said. "I want to be trained by you in all of your arts." The kunoichi looked at each other. There was someone who wanted to learn their skills from them. He was even offering them a way out if they decided not to. "What about your sensei?" asked Yugao. "He must have taught you something." "My sensei hasn't taught me anything. All he does is go on and on about teamwork and needing better chakra control, which he hasn't taught me," then focuses on the Uchiha. They frowned at the obvious favoritism. He hadn't even seemed to care that they were taking Naruto. They shared a smile. He had shown great potential in their scuffle. "We've warned you that we couldn't teach you a lot of flashy jutsu. Hana warned, if we do this you have to give us full commitment. The minute you start slacking we stop and are even." "Deal," he answered, "but I have one request." "Depends. We keep this secret from everyone on my team." "Deal." They gave Naruto an encouraging smile. It was quickly replaced by a look of true sadistic pleasure. "Well then, Naruto, welcome to hell. That concludes today's training and puts another mission under your belt, spoke Kakashi. You've all improved, but Naruto, you need to. I know, increase my chakra control. Naruto cut off with a drawl before smirking. I've got the feeling it'll be getting much better soon. Baka screeched. The pink harpy. Show Sensei more respect. She rolled up her sleeve as if to look intimidating. To her and everyone else's surprise, he just looked bored. Are we done, Sensei? He asked, still bored. I need to go. Yes, he answered, never looking from his book. As Naruto turned to leave, he heard the arrogant voice of the Uchiha. What is a dope like you need to do? He too was cut off. Hang around those whores of yours. Shut it, team, he snapped, and don't call them whores. They're better than any woman you'll ever get, if any, the way you turn down your fangirls. Naruto, you need to be more respectful of your teammates, spoke Kakashi into his book. Yeah, you should know your betters, and I can't stand this. Goodbye, cruel world. Naruto shouted. Let boss deal with them on his own. Grabbing a kunai, he impaled himself. He just couldn't deal with them any longer. He went up in smoke. A shadow clone, they thought. Since when? Naruto was excited. Today was the day that things changed. It was the day that he started getting proper training with his new senseis. He had gone to the Hokage and told him that he had forgiven the Kunoichi. After a few minutes of discussing everything, he agreed to Naruto's terms. They had decided to train him in rotation so that they could keep up their duties. He would train with Anko and Yugao, then Hana and Kurenai. The only real downside was he had to wait for Deki to make his cloth since they were custom made. They'd take a while to be done. Until then, it's just you and me, jumpsuit. The second and most obvious was his team. They made my clone kill itself. An upside to that was that he had been training all day. He was wearing the weights that Deki had sold him. They were 100 pounds on each limb, and chasing the cat was a great workout with them. I just couldn't stand that Uchiha always trying to be better. Time for my real training, he stated to himself, and then I could get a few bowls of ramen. Now here he was at his training ground on his land toward. He loved how that sounded. He looked around and saw the open field. The only one there was the foxes, who were playing with the foxes. Where are they? Though I know they aren't like Kakashi-sensei. He closed his eyes and relaxed as a smile appeared on his face. So that's your game, huh? Hello, Anko-chan, he greeted over his shoulder where she stood silently. With a kunai in hand, Yugao-sensei into a tree where his second sensei dropped from. How do you always know where we are, Foxy-kun? Asked Anko, impressed. And how come only Anko gets a chan? Asked Yugao. I've always known when people were near me since I was little. He answered honestly. And the chan? Asked an intrigued Yugao. It doesn't seem fair. You didn't threaten to do horrible things to me with a snake if I called you san. He answered blankly. Well, now you call us all chans or Sensei Geki, spoke Anko. That way my friends aren't jealous. On a serious note, stated a lightly blushing Yugao. She may have been a little jealous. You say you feel people. Yeah, it used to help me hide from the mobs when I was little. I've gotten a little better at it. Naruto, are you a censor? Asked Yugao. She didn't want him to even think of those mobs. A what? He asked. They didn't cover that in class. Asked Anko, shocked. Censor Nin were the best trackers, even better than her clan, not that they'd admit it. That's something important. I thought they'd warn you about them. They probably did, he answered. It was probably one of those days they'd kicked me out of class. How much have they neglected this kid? Were their collective thoughts. They needed to do their best to make it up to him. Naruto, I want you to do me a favor, spoke Anko. I want you to focus and tell me where the foxes are. Looking around, he saw that they were indeed gone. Relaxing his body, he felt as far as he could. Raising his hand, he pointed in their direction. 10 meters that way, he answered correctly. Now they are moving toward us. They'll be here in 6.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, 0.1. Just as he predicted, they came busting through the woods. The Kunoichi gave a smile of understanding. Well, Geki, you are a censor, Anko spoke. We'll try to train you in that as well. Truth be told, she didn't know what she was going to train him in. Impress us and we'll teach you a jutsu. Naruto, please make as many clones as you can. He did so without question. Soon the field was full of hundreds of Narutos, that is. A lot. I can make more if you want, he offered. He was proud of his clone skills. No, first thing we need to work on is your chakra control, stated Yugao. First thing we'll do is tree climbing. Focus your chakra to a certain point and maintain it as you take a step. I've come up with a way you can work on that, your reflexes, and entertain me, stated Anko sadistically. I don't like that entertain part, he stated fearfully. Where's this going, Anko-chan, and why do you have that smile ... Why do you have that kunai? Dodge, she shouted at the top of her lungs. Throwing the kunai directly at him, she frowned. She threw it slow enough for him to dodge, but fast enough for him not to know she did. I have a reputation. However, all he did was let it hit him in the arm. If it had been the real one, he'd have a horrible gash. That's what she was talking, Naruto stated. Kurenai, clone or not, you just took a kunai to the arm. I have a high pain tolerance, he stated. Naruto-kun, spoke a sad Yugao. We know about the villager. No need to hide anything, not from us. The villager would often gang up and beat Naruto until he was physically broken, but never emotionally. His birthdays were the worst of them. Instead of beating, they would actually torture him. It had happened so frequently that only the birthdays were the ones that truly hurt. They stopped when he started his ninja training, but the damage was done. That is why we to kill two birds with one stone, spoke Yugao. Using your clones you can work on chakra control. What do my clones have to do with this? He asked, and what will I be doing? The Kunoichi frowned at this. What has Kakashi been teaching him? They knew he was neglecting Naruto's training, but this was ridiculous. Your clone's knowledge will pass on to you, explained Yugao. You can train faster in anything but not strength, speed, or reflex. It was how most Anbu trained. That was with 2, 3, or 4 clones. Naruto had much more. If a clone is destroyed, you won't be able to get stronger. Now, dodge. This time the clones dodged good. Now I can begin having fun. Dodge. She is enjoying this a bit too much for my taste, he thought. They decided to train in another part of the field. It was difficult for Naruto to focus with Anko trying to kill him, especially since she liked to aim for what made him a man. Every single time. It was a sad day to be a clone. They will do that while we work on a few beginner Genjutsu katas. Spoke Yugao. Naruto, focus. I'm going to teach you the first katas to this style, she ordered. Pick up that katana and hold it like so. She held a ready stance but saw he was strained. Are you okay? She wanted him to get used to the type of weapon he'd be using and the dangers of self-harm from it. Unfortunately for Naruto, she wouldn't let him have a real one until he needed it. Can I take off these weights? He asked. The strain is getting to me. He has been wearing them all day, she contemplated. No, she said after a minute of thinking, it's best you keep them on to build more speed and force in your blows. She reasoned. She had been expecting him to protest or even groan. She was proud to see him only set himself for practice. What determination. Okay, sensei, he answered. You can drop the weight a bit if it gets to be too much, she offered. If you master these series, I'll teach you a Genjutsu technique. With the promise of a jutsu, he was given new energy. She trained Naruto in a series of katas. He even made a few clone to watch himself to see his errors. There was a lot, but Yugao proudly stated that most came from his exhaustion mixed with weights. As the sun began to set, Naruto ended his chakra control and Genjutsu practice. Even though he hadn't mastered the series of katas, he made progress. He did, however, master the tree walking. You did good, just need to dispel the clones. Anko spoke. Hey clones, she called. As they turned to the source of the voice, they blushed. They were greeted with the sight of Anko's bare chest. It took them a full 3 seconds to register it as they flew back in a massive nosebleed before dispelling. Unfortunately, the strain of hundreds of clones dispelling at once was too much. It caused him to pass out on the spot. He did, however, have a goofy smile and trail of blood flowing down his nose. Anko, that was too much, scolded Yugao. Are you trying to turn him into a pervert? Hey, with that much stamina I wouldn't mind, she answered truthfully, gaining a blush from her fellow Kunoichi. Well, let's get him home, stated Yugao. He'll love the surprise he'll find when he wakes up. Well, maybe my gift, Anko. When Naruto awoke, he found he was in his apartment. He had an extra hour until team meeting began, then an extra 2 before Kakashi arrived. Deciding to get out of bed, he found slight difficulty. I must have trained harder than I thought. As he grabbed for the ramen in his cabinet, he felt something off. Where's all of my ramen? He found a note and 2 scrolls. Dear Gaki, stop eating ramen. It's why you're so short. Here's some dango sealed in the first scroll, just add chakra. You had better eat and love it. Also, don't even try that ramen stand. I paid them off not to sell to you for the week. Please, you earned the second. PPS, I doubled your weights. TPPS, dodge. As soon as he read that last line, he tossed the scroll. No sooner than he did, a kunai flew out of it. It lodged itself into his wall, sealing a kunai. I think she's trying to kill me. Wait, she doubled my weights. Reaching inside of the second scroll, he unraveled it. It was a jutsu in a small book, Sensor Nin and its mechanics. We found you a book on sensors at Daki's shop. Shunshin. High-speed movement allows ninja to move short distance at near instantaneous speed. Enjoy. Forgetting all about his hunger, he headed toward his training ground. He wanted to impress his real senseis. Baka, why are you late? Cried a harpy, and what's with that smile? He wouldn't let them ruin his day. He would do his best to get through the day as fast as possible. I'm not late, Sakura. I beat Kakashi-sensei, he answered. Both were in shock. Not only had he said something logical, he hadn't called her Sakura-chan like normally would. Deciding not to get involved with them, he chose to sit away from them. I have an hour until he arrives. It's a good time to work on being a censor. After 20 minutes of reading, he closed his eyes and allowed himself to relax. He skipped through straight to the how-to. As he focused, everything seemed to become more vivid than with his eyes open. He could feel every from his teammates to the insect crawling near him. He tried to extend it. The further away he went, the less vivid it became. It seems my range isn't far, but it's focused. After messing around with his abilities, he decided to read more and eat some of the dango Anko packed for him. She'd make me suffer if it went to waste. As the smell of fresh dango spread across the field, he felt his hunger kick in. At the first bite, he thought, not ramen, but a close second. He sat back in peace, enjoying the book and food. Hey Baka, give me one of those, howled a certain pink-haired monkey. And just like that, my piece is gone. No, he answered. He wasn't giving up anything given to him by one of his senseis. Not to any of them. What? She asked. She had just been denied something by Naruto. It was hard to believe. He's supposed to worship me. Yo, sorry I'm late. I got lost on the road. What are we learning today, sensei? Asked Naruto. He wasn't going to listen to another excuse. I can't teach you much until you increase your chakra control. Turning to his other students, Sasuke, I have a new technique for you. Sakura, I want to watch Sasuke-kun train, she stated. If you don't train Sakura, you'll be weak, stated Naruto. Who asked you? She screeched. I'll have Sasuke to save me and then we'll get married, and he just tuned her out. Can I be dismissed? He asked. Not even waiting for an answer, he walked off. He doubted any of them heard him. He wanted to get some real training done. "Hello, Hana-sensei," he said from his book. "You can stop hiding, Kurenai-sensei. I knew you were there the minute you came into the field. Anko and Yuga warned us about that," stated Kurenai, coming into view from her Genjutsu. "They never said it was so." Creepy, continued Hana as she walked into the field. "If you want, I can stop it," he offered. "No need," Kurenai stated. "Now tell me, what Genjutsu you know?" Henji answered. "And that's it," he finished. "Sensei, can a person use Genjutsu without hand seal?" "Yes, but you still need a medium, like your eyes or sound, and better control than yours is." Kurenai looked for the kindest way to phrase it. "Could you teach me?" he asked. To spare her, at least she cares enough to spare my feelings. "I can only do a few myself, but maybe later." They then began the lesson. As it turned out, Hana had decided to teach Naruto's clones how to make storage seals. Kurenai did her best to teach Naruto some Genjutsu. Naruto was in a bad mood. It had been 2 weeks and he couldn't learn his sensei's simplest Genjutsu. His Genjutsu was going well. He didn't blame her, far from it. Kurenai had spent hours trying to teach him and find the reason why he was having trouble. She had even given him low-level scrolls to practice. He blamed himself and the reason he couldn't learn. The fox, since one needed balanced chakra to do Genjutsu, he couldn't learn. Is in the fox's chakra were always fighting. The only reason he could do henge was because control wasn't needed. His thoughts were focused on that so long he never noticed himself falling asleep. Mindscape. "So, my jailer finally decides to show up," stated a deep gruff voice. "What do you want?" "I want answers," he shouted, shocking the giant fox. "Why are you ruining my control?" There was no fear in his question. There was plenty of anger in it, but no fear. That only enraged the fox. Rearing back, the fox let out a roar. It was enough to shake a village and knock people over. Naruto just stood and glared. "Come closer," the fox ordered. Seeing no reason to fear the fox, he did so without hesitation. That enraged the fox as well. With the speed of, well, a demon, the fox stabbed the giant claws at Naruto. They never made it to him thanks to the bars stopping them, just inches from his face. Naruto hadn't so much as flinched at them. "Damn you, boy," came another roar. "Fear me. I am the very stuff nightmares are made of." "Why should I?" the blonde asked. "Just give me control of myself." "And why should I?" Enraged Call, "You've always preached about hard work, so go with that. Why must you ruin everything in my life?" His screamed. "Well, no, this fox," he spat. "I don't fear you and I want control so I can continue my training." "Ah yes, your training," he commented in a tone Naruto didn't like. "How very fox-like of you." "What do you mean by that?" Naruto asked. He was hating where this was going. "Come now, Genjutsu is fox domain," he stated. "A sword for claws and you're already a trickster." "Those are so I can get stronger," he stated, "and they're happy to train me." "How would you like even more help?" The demon asked. "Help in both of training and more." "What are you getting at, fox?" Naruto wasn't as dumb as he let on. He wouldn't be tricked so easily. "Just a deal between a host and his burden," Kyuubi commented. "It could be beneficial for the both of us." "I'm listening," he stated. "The deal is simple. I give you the means to take your skills to a whole new level," the fox offered for a price. "How would you do that?" His answer was simple. A bloodline. Seeing that he had the boy's attention, the fox continued, "and give you a few needed modifications." "What do you want?" It was worth listening to. "3 things," the fox stated. "The first, since you won't give me my freedom, I want access to your senses. The second, I want you to spread fear in my name." He roared before smiling cruelly. "And finally, a little piece of your mind becoming mine." "What? I could agree to the senses, but why would I spread fear in your name?" He asked. "If it would give the villagers even more reason to hate me." "It's not like they could hate you more than they do," the fox stated, "and I doubt they'll even try to like you." "Why do you want fear?" It had been bugging him for a while. "That goes back before I was even the Kyuubi," he spoke in a memory. "Days back when I was just an average, larger than normal, but average fox." "If you weren't born a demon, how did you become one?" He interrupted. "The fear. From the very beginning it was the fear that gave me my power. The bloody kitsune they called me. My reign of terror was legendary. Dozens of villagers would fall to my claws at a time until I was slain. It was then I became something worse. The stuff nightmares are made of. I became a demon. Since I was so feared, the fear brought me back as a demon and the fun really began." "Then why do you need me?" he asked. "Can't you keep escaping death?" "Because of your 4th Hokage." The beast roared. "After I was sealed, people thought I was dead and they lost fear." He continued. "Being dead isn't a problem, but being forgotten, now that's a bitch. I can't come back if nobody fears me. I can't come back if nobody's afraid. That's why you need me." The blonde stated. "Without fear you're nothing." "Yes, I need you. That had to hurt. You've got the body, I've got the brain." "Why do you mean some of my mind? Do you honestly believe you can be cruel enough?" It seemed to be an honest question. "Do you think you could get the amount of fear I need?" "The bloodline, what would it do?" he asked, ignoring the question. "The bloodline is called the Fox Glare. It has 2 abilities. The first, you can learn and use any Genjutsu you know. The second is trapping a person inside a Genjutsu domain controlled by you just by eye contact. Explain the demon through it. You can either hold or break, a long-lasting side effect." "What is the drawback?" He wasn't stupid. There was always a risk. "You need to see the opponent, or the Genjutsu will run wild." Kyuubi stated. "If you use Genjutsu, anyone around will be affected the same, such as pain by fire or drowning, unless you're focused." The fox wasn't finished. "Anyone better at Genjutsu or smarter or have a stronger will can defeat you at your own game. taking a moment to think it also can't be turned off or hidden through Genjutsu, so good luck hiding it. Anything else? You can detect Genjutsu but not break or copy it. The fox added, those are your own skills. And the modifications would I receive? Enhanced. Everything with slight fox features. Your blood will be a great cure for all ailments. Taking another minute to think, I will also train you in a few techniques so your body sensing skill will be taken to new levels. What's the catch to those? Increased levels of bloodlust and cruelty. Deal. Huibai wanted to chuckle but wasn't foolish. The fox knew that so much as smiling could ruin the deal. Tear off a tenth of the seal, the fox ordered, and prepare for pain. Doing so, Naruto experienced something he hadn't felt since his childhood. Pain. He felt pain coursing through every part of him. It seemed to be focused behind his eyes and in the center of his head. The fox's constant laughing wasn't helping. D-damn ... Fox, he got out before the darkness claimed him. Real world. Jumping up, Naruto was sure he wasn't getting back to bed. Damn fox, well, I have an hour until team meeting. Getting out of bed, Naruto noticed that he felt as light as a feather. Yes, I'll be increasing my weights again. He also noticed that he was at least a foot higher off the ground than usual. The changes. Walking toward his mirror, he eyed his reflection. His once sun-kissed blonde hair now carried traces of red highlights. His teeth were now razor-sharp, fang-like. His blue eyes were the same, but his pupil were now had slits. He couldn't help but give himself a few once-overs. I'll need some new. Deki told me he would be finished today. He tried dressing in his now too small clothes. When that didn't work, he decided to henge into his regular self. Since mine is real, they'll never notice. Reassured, he dressed and left. Leaf Dragon. Hey, Naruto greeted Deki. Usually I wasn't expecting you until much later in the day. What are you doing here? Asked Naruto. Don't you have any employees to cover the night shift? Nope, I do everything, and using soldier pills I can keep going. He explained. Deki ... How many of those pills have you had? He asked. So I assume you're here for those clothes? He asked, ignoring the question. Yes, Naruto answered worriedly. Smiling sheepishly, Deki grabbed one of his clothes. They were the standard black ambu pants, a new pair of black, steel-toed combat boots, a crimson-red trench coat similar to Anko's with black flames licking the bottom and end of sleeves. In the center of the coat was a kanji. The kanji said Kitsune, which stood for fox. The cloths even came with great features. Add chakra and they'll grow to any size, dry themselves, and even keep the wearer warm. Great for extra chakra control. Deki only blinked and the cloths were on the blonde. Naruto liked the clothes so much he brought several sets. Usually this would be out of his price range, but Deki worked him a deal. If he purchased all of his ninja items from the Leaf Dragon, then everything was half off. Naruto, why do you have a henge on? Deki asked, losing all humor. Deciding the gig was up, he dropped the disguise. The cloths instantly grew with him just as they were created. Well, the semi-blonde asked nervously, how do I look? Can't have the only useful shop hate me. Deki stared at the now red highlighted blonde in front of him. His gaze was even and calculative. It made Naruto a bit uneasy as he stood there. You need something for the eyes, he spoke, to cover up their extra features. Have anything that can completely cut off my sight? He asked, relieved. I'm training in being a censor. Sure. Pulling a crimson cloth from somewhere, he handed it to Naruto. It's from the same material as your suit, created it just for you. Written on it was a kanji meaning mirage. As he tied the on cloth, he decided to explore until his sensei arrived. Maybe I'll go to an empty training ground. He continued around until he entered into a training ground. The area was littered with weapons and the posts were horribly beaten. It is most unyouthful to spy on my team, came a voice from behind. Naruto acted on pure instinct. Turning, he threw a kick toward the source of the voice. It never connected because his leg was caught. The grip on his leg was like iron. That too is most unyouthful. The source of the voice was a kid wearing green spandex with orange leg warmers. He had an awful bowl cut and ... Good lord. Are those his eyebrows? They look like caterpillars. How did you get behind me? Naruto asked, with how come I couldn't sense your chakra? He felt out for it. I still can't feel it. He was even tempted to take the cloth off his eyes to see if he was there. Even if it were civilian level, I should feel it. Lee, what is going on? Asked an older-looking version of the now dubbed Lee. Have you brought another to the ways of youth? Not yet, guy. SENSEI, he yelled, but if I cannot convert as many as you to the ways of youth, then I shall do 500 laps around the village backwards on my hands. Lee, my student, the older version yelled, your flames of youth glow brighter every day. Guy sense. Lee. Guy sense. Lee. Guy SENSEI. Naruto didn't know what he was seeing. He didn't want to know. The two lookalikes were starting to hug, with his leg still in the middle. As they did, a horrible sunset began to form behind them. Why can't I dispel that thing? He didn't know how, but he had to get free. He saw only one option. Drawing a kunai, he prepared to saw through his own leg. Lee, Guy-sensei, came a feminine cry. You're about to make another person sever their limbs for freedom. They finally released his leg. Turning to his savior, he began to thank her. He never got the chance as he was stopped by a cold, arrogant voice. Who are you? He asked. Naruto Uzumaki. And you? I am Neji Hyuga. He gives off the same vibes as the Uchiha. This is my teammate 1010. Thank you 1010 for saving me, he spoke, but they seem to be finishing, so I need to run. Wait, she called. This is a private area. What were you doing here? I just wanted a spot to train. He answered. Did someone say train? He noticed the 2x motioning for him to say no. Yes, then let us train, the lookalike shouted as one. I shall make you into a youthful shinobi and continue in my conquest for world youth. What have I gotten myself into? The blonde asked himself. Youth, my friend, spoke Lee quietly. Youth. Training for Naruto was hell. He wasn't able to keep up with Lee's speed, but he matched him in stamina. The others were very surprised to see it happen, especially when they found he wore weights. 10 was able to help Naruto train with his Genjutsu. She kept an array of weapons, so he was always kept on guard. He bonded pretty well with all but the Hyuga. Naruto couldn't stand his arrogance. Putting on a henge and his blindfold, he headed toward his team meeting. They were already in progress, most likely never noticing his absence. When he made himself known, well, he wished he hadn't. Naruto Baka, where have you been? Howled the pink monkey. You're late. Naruto just ignored her, he was too tired. Practice with Guy was tough, what posses me to schedule more with them. Naruto, where have you been? Asked Kakashi, and why do you have a blindfold around your eyes? It's for training. The blonde answered, not a complete lie. What kind of training? Asked the Uchiha. If it's useful, I should be the one learning it, not you. Deciding he wasn't going to deal with them, he turned to his teacher. I can believe he reads that stuff in front of us, we're minors. What are we learning today? The blonde asked. His answer was predictable. Since you missed another mission, we decided to do some teamwork. Hey, where are you going? To train. The blonde stated, but before that I feel the need for my oldest friend. Ramen, and lots of it. Ikaraku ramen. Hey old man, Chuchai, Naruto called. I am Chan. Naruto needs his ramen. 15 bowls later and he felt better. There was one thing that was making it difficult to enjoy the food to its fullest. Actually, it was 3 things, 3 people. Konohamaru rocks aren't square. He stated, moving toward his next bowl of ramen. So you saw through our disguise. The rock spoke. I expect nothing less from my rival. At the end of the sentence, the rock went up in smoke. There was a lot of coughing and complaining from the one inside. Udon, Konohamaru shouted, you used too much powder. Hey, you wanted a big entrance? Udon countered. Naruto-kun, who are these kids? Asked Daim. Seeing an opportunity for their entrance, they began posing. I'm Konohamaru, future Hokage. I'm Udon, I like meth. I'm Mogi, the cutest girl in my class. And together, taking another pose, they spoke as one. We are the Konohamaru Corps. They waited for some type of response and they got it. It was clapping ... from Daim. Naruto had already turned back to his ramen. That's so cute, isn't it, Naruto? She asked. Not after seeing it every time I see them, he stated. Boss, can you teach us something, please? Asked Konohamaru. Please. Sorry, but I have my own training. He stated. I see. Mogi, bring out the big guns. Konohamaru ordered. On command, Mogi was in front of Naruto, giving him the puppy eyes. He tried to resist, but they pulled him to look. They commanded him to obey. I'm wearing a blindfold. How am I affected? Fine, I'm sure those puppy eyes are some kind of jutsu. I guess I'll teach them what I learned. What will we learn? They asked. As one a jutsu, a secret skill, how to dodge, he stated. What? Udon asked. Drawing a kunai, he leaked out killer intent. He let a bloodthirsty aura fill the area. It was a small amount, but to fresh academy students it was jounin level. Dodge. The chase had begun. After running the kids back to class, much to their annoyance, he headed for his land. I think I'll surprise them with a page from Konohamaru, a flashy entrance. As he arrived, he decided to use his new abilities. Dropping the jutsu, he let his real appearance out. The Kunoichi sat in patience, minus Anko, as they waited for Naruto to appear. They had all appeared today for various reasons we won't go into. It didn't usually take this long since he was punctual. Out of nowhere, a reddish blonde-headed guy appeared in the forest. He stood there as the Kunoichi took guard. This is a private area, stated Hana. I know, he stated. Please leave, ordered Kurenai. No, the Kunoichi were now ready to fight. They each took a position around the intruder, waiting for him to act. What do you want? Asked Anko. To meet some of the most powerful and beautiful Kunoichi of Konoha, he answered. From there, it's anyone's bet. Who would they be? Asked Yugao, both upset at the compliment. Don't tell me he's a pervert. I'm looking at them. He spoke. Anko took the first opportunity to act. Drawing a kunai, she cut his cheek, allowing a bit of blood to flow. Compliments will get you everywhere, she stated, taking a lick at his blood. Wait a sec, Geki. I shouldn't be surprised you've memorized my blood, Naruto stated, after the amount you've drained from me. What's with the new look? They asked. And were you flirting? I'd like to answer all questions, stated Naruto. Say over dinner. Naruto ... Are you asking us on a date? Asked Kurenai. As in all 4 of us? Maybe. Realization fell into place. He was Naruto Uzumaki, pariah of the village. Why would they even consider dating him? Sorry, he spoke. It was a foolish idea. Naruto, you aren't a fool, spoke Yugao. Yes, I am. I'm a no-name genin, he said, pointing to himself, and you are 4 of the elite Kunoichi of the village. Pointing to said Kunoichi. Naruto, to top it all off, I asked all 4 of you out, he ranted. That was a perverted thing to do. I don't want to be a pervert. Why would you want to date us? Asked Hana. You all have been nice to me, he started. You're all amazing women, he continued. You're each skilled and proud, but not the slightest bit arrogant. He thought for a moment, and my time with you all has been the happiest of my life. They could see that he was really upset about this. He seemed to want a genuine relationship with them, not just a mindless pervert. They then shared a look. It was one of those looks women get when they're somehow having a conversation. They nodded their heads as if reaching an agreement. Naruto, you aren't a fool, Hana stated. Yes, I am, he countered, a demonically enhanced fool. Naruto, Yuga snapped, you are not a fool, do you know why? No, because my mother told me never to kiss a fool, she shouted. Grabbing Naruto by the back of his head, she pulled him forward. Their lips locked and Naruto felt absolute bliss. The world seemed to pause as he enjoyed the kiss. All too soon it came to an end. We each expect a reinforced clone to pick us up tomorrow by 8 to show us a wonderful night, stated Kurenai. Remember Gaki, we each have different tastes on what we believe is a perfect date, warned Anko. Dressed casually he spoke, until then my Himes, gaining a blush from said Himes. Naruto was nervous. He was going on the first date of his life, and it was with 4 women. Most men in his position would be boasting. He however wasn't most men, he stayed silent. He had taken the day off of training from his team in the Kunoichi. There were a lot of things for him to do for his date. Not that he neglected his training. He sent multiple clones out to practice. Some in Genjutsu with the scrolls Kurenai left. Some in the katas Yugao had showed him. Find something for each Kunoichi to enjoy. Find places where he wasn't hated. Find out how to act on a date. Get advice on what to do for the date. I need serious help. Advice? Who can I go to? Should I ask the Ikaraku family? No. How about the old man Hokage? No, he's a pervert, I've seen those books. There's always Iruka-sensei. 10 minutes later and he was in front of his old academy. It seemed his teacher was giving a lecture. Oh, how I hated those. Deciding to spare the kids the pain he went through, he entered. Hey Iruka-sensei, I need your advice. He called. Naruto? He asked, shocked. I'd love to help you, but I'm a bit busy with class. He looked at the class of children. They were either sleeping from the lecture of talking. Deciding to be honest to his teacher, he said, Sensei, you've lost them. Just tell me what you need. He said, annoyed, why does nobody like my lectures? Dragging his former teacher outside, he said, I need dating advice. Now Iruka had to admit that he was shocked. It didn't mean he would show it. He was after all both a ninja and a teacher. What do you need to know? He asked. Not even taking a minute to think, Naruto simply said everything. Flowers. Yamanaka Flower Shop. Hello, greeted Ino. Welcome to the Yam, Naruto. What are you doing here, Baka? He did his best to ignore the insult. I'm here to buy flowers for my date, he stated. I'd like to make a good first impression. Who would go on a date with you? She asked. I bet you just annoyed Sakura until she said yes. I am not going on a date with Sakura, he stated. He really didn't want to deal with a fangirl. I just want to buy some flowers and leave. Fine, she sneered. What do you want? I want 4 bouquets, each mixed with red and black, pink, orange, and white. One for Anko, Kurenai, Hana, and Yugao. Great, now I have to tell you what they mean, she sighed, annoyed. You probably just chose them for looks anyway. I know what they mean. Red love, black the beginning of new things, pink elegance and refinement, orange warm vibrant tones, white humility and innocence. Ino was in shock. Not only had Naruto of all people picked out flowers, but he actually knew what they meant. How does someone like you know what they mean? She asked. Can I have my flowers? He asked, ignoring the question. Why would you need 4? She asked. Are you cheating on somebody? You are, aren't you? She accused probably some poor civilians who you lied to and said you did all the stuff Sasuke-kun did. How is Sasuke-kun? Has he mentioned me? Enough. He roared. I'm not cheating on anybody, he stated. I just want to buy my flowers for my dates. If you want to talk about the Uchiha, then find Haruno. Baka, she shouted. You should treat me with respect. I'm heiress to the Yamanaka clan and I don't have to sell you anything. She stated, but wasn't finished, and you are just a nobody. What is going on here? Asked a new voice. Ino and Naruto looked toward the source of the voice. It was Inoichi Yamanaka, Ino's father. He had been watching from the beginning. Your daughter refuses to sell to me, stated Naruto. He knew Inoichi had been watching and she constantly insults me. But he's a nobody, she stated, trying to defend himself. And what are we Yamanakas without the Nara and Akamichi clan? He asked. I apologize for my daughter, the flowers are free. Not wanting to wait a second longer, Naruto grabbed his flowers and left. He had 4 different dates to prepare for. Remember everything Iruka-sensei told you and you'll do fine. Who does that Baka think he is? Ino getting me in trouble with daddy. I'm going to make him pay. Okay Naruto, you can do this. He repeatedly chanted in his head. I just have to show them a good time. Stealing his resolve, he knocked on the door and Anko. Hello Hebi-Heim, he greeted, getting a blush from Anko. I brought flowers. Hello Foxy-kun, greeted Anko as she took the flowers. Well, come in and we can get down to business. Down to business? He asked. What do you mean? Well, what do you think men and women do? She asked with a perverted leer. Naruto's face put a tomato to shame. Anko-chan, I don't think I'm old enough for that. There is a motto many shinobi live by. She spoke. And old enough to kill, then you're old enough to drink and have sex. We're not well enough into a relationship for that. He tried. Anko saw that he honestly wasn't in this for the sex. He wants to just have a relationship. I guess I'll throw him a bone. Fine, she spoke, but if we're going anywhere I want you to drop the hen. She did so happily. It made him feel accepted. What will we be doing? She was honestly curious. There's a place my former sensei recommended, he answered. It's supposed to be non-biased for us as well, he said, referring to her problem as well as his. Do they have dango? If they didn't, there would be trouble. And red bean soup, he added. Well, what are we waiting for? She grabbed him and literally started dragging him. Which way is it? Grabbing her arm, he shunshined them to the location he was given. When they arrived, it looked like a bar mixed with a diner. It seemed to be a decent place on the outside, however there were very few people around. Fire in the hole. came a shout from inside. No sooner had that been said, a man ran out through the entrance. What the? He never finished. The whole building started to light up, before coming down in a fiery explosion. Hey, what are you doing here? Asked another voice. This area is closed for demolition. Looking around, Naruto became aware of the signs. Well, Gaki teased Anko, what do you have planned? He took a minute to think but came up empty-handed. I've got nothing, he admitted. I do, spoke Anko giddily, a little too giddily for Naruto. Grabbing her date, she took him a few blocks from their location. When they arrived, they were surrounded by unfriendly-looking people. They didn't seem to pay much attention to them, but the few that did just glared and looked away. Anko, he asked, where are we? This is a place I go to celebrate after a mission, she spoke. As they walked inside a shady-looking pub, Naruto knew he was in for a wild night. Anko was greeted by several people as they made their way toward the bar. They took a seat and waited for the bartender to notice them. Hey Anko, the bartender greeted, what can I get you? Two of the usual, she ordered, but make his a small. She pointed toward Naruto. He was tempted to say he would take the same as her until he saw what it was. It was a drink, that much was obvious. Anko quickly snatched hers and started downing it. A second later it was half gone. Taking a pause, she let out a large belch. Naruto eyed his. It looked to be mostly foam. Taking a single, but large, sip, he tasted it. It didn't stay long before he swallowed it all. It doesn't taste half bad. He quickly downed the rest. We got ourselves a natural, laughed the bartender as he handed out a refill. 5 minutes later they were having a drinking contest. Anko was impressed. Naruto was able to hold his liquor. I should take him out more. Another 10 minutes later they lost count. Naruto wasn't drunk, but the same couldn't be said for Anko. Hey Naruto-chan, cooed Anko, how about we go back to my place and become much closer? Sorry Anko, but you're drunk, he said. I'm going to have to take you home. Oh, but I want my Foxy-kun, she whined. Truthfully, she wasn't completely drunk. She just wanted to know what he would do. Please, when you're sober, he reasoned. Unfortunately for Naruto, Anko knew a sobering jutsu. After fumbling through a series of hand signs, she was back to normal. There, I'm sober, she stated. Let's go. Wait, you tricked me, he accused, gaining a laugh from Anko and the bartender. Hey, if you don't want her, we'll happily take her off your hands, came a new gruff voice. Turning to the source, Naruto and Anko were greeted by an awful sight. There were 3 men, all dressed like thugs. They had made a small circle around Naruto and Anko. They constantly gave Anko lusty looks and Naruto glares. Sorry pal, but she's my date for the evening. He spoke coldly. I hope you 3 understand. I hope you understand, brat. The apparent leader sneered that we don't care if she was with the Hokage. Naruto was about to tell them to leave when he saw Anko smile. She has that look on her face, it usually ends up with pain. Hey Naruto, do you know what would make this evening perfect? She asked as her smile grew. Now Naruto noticed the bartender lower himself out of sight. What would? Taking a sharp kunai, her smile grew. As fast as a ninja, she drove the kunai deep into the shoulder of a stranger. She then tossed the bloodied weapon into the hands of the leader of the trio. The stranger stood and looked toward the couple, then the trio. He spotted the weapon and stood to full height. This guy has to be 7 feet tall. Letting out a war cry, he dived toward the trio. Bar fight. 20 minutes later, Anko and Naruto were the only ones standing. Even the bartender had jumped in at some point. Anko was happy, exhausted but happy. She got to drink, fight, and even eat some poor sap's food for free. He shouldn't have gotten knocked out so soon, she stated. Naruto wanted to remind her that she was the one that knocked him out, but decided against it. The worst part was she sodomized several innocent people with her snakes. Let me get you home, Benihime, stated Naruto. They reached her apartment a minute later through Shunshin. They stood there for a full minute. They stared at each other, or in Naruto's case felt her chakra. Deciding not to wait any longer, Anko made the first move. Leaning forward, she gave him a chase kiss. It felt wonderful to Naruto, no matter how short it was. I had a wonderful evening, Naruto-kun, she stated. I hope we can do this again soon. She hinted. So do I, he admitted as she opened her door. He turned to leave but was stopped by a large snake coiled around him. Come in, Naruto, she ordered while licking a kunai in hand. How can I say no? He nervously laughed. Hana. At Hana's home he was greeted by Hana's mother. Hello, you must be the pup, stated. Naruto spoke Hana's mother. Hana will be down soon. Hello, Miss Tsum-sen, he greeted. No need for formalities, Naruto-kun, spoke Hana, descending the stairs. My mother hates them as much as you. Hello, Anuheim, he greeted, gaining a blush, handing her the flowers. I have these for you. Do you know what they mean, pup? Tsum asked, looking at the colors, gaining a nod from Naruto. Have a good time, pup. Tsum, before taking a teasing tone, have her back before 10 and don't let me know if you're in the house. Mother. Tsum wasn't finished. Don't forget I want grand pups. Grabbing Naruto by the hand, she dragged him out. Once they arrived at the destination, Naruto dropped his disguise. They were in an open field on top of the Hokage monument. In the field was a blanket and picnic basket. Inside, Hana could smell a lot of delicious items. It was making her appetite grow. Let's see, started Hana outside with a beautiful view, delicious food. You did your homework on Unusual Women, Naruto-kun. I tried my best, he said. Sukyun, he offered. They were Hana's favorite. She was even more impressed when she found he had made them himself. They sat and ate in silence. It was a comfortable silence, but still silent. Hana decided to break it. Naruto-kun, she called, gaining his attention. Where are we? The Hokage monument. He too was glad the silence was broken. This was my first comfort spot, he stated. I still come here to think. Why did we come here instead of your field? Look up, he answered. They sit in the vastness that we know nothing about. They hide from us in the day while staying in plain sight. She saw what he meant. The stars. They're beautiful, she whispered. Yeah, you are, he whispered, thinking she hadn't heard. She did. Naruto, see, can I touch your whiskers? She cautiously asked. Naruto visibly tensed at the request. He didn't let many people touch his whiskers, and the ones he did were rarely. To Naruto that was a very intimate thing. As he thought the request over and over in silence, Hana mistook that as a no. Sorry, I asked, she apologized. Realizing he had been silent too long, he apologized. No, you can touch them. She assured her, it's just ... they are a very sensitive part of me. Really? She knew it was like someone touching the family tattoo on her cheeks. Reaching slowly, she rubbed him. What happened completely shocked her. He purred. Oh, my gosh. She mentally squealed, that is so cute. She couldn't contain herself. She playfully tackled him to the ground, knocking his blindfold off. It seemed like she was pinning him, but was in fact hugging him. To her even greater surprise, he flipped her over and pinned her. When she looked in the eyes, she saw that they were innocent and playful. Like a young pup ... or young kit. Sorry, Naruto, but I like being top. They repeated the process over several times. It wasn't long before they were running and chasing each other on all fours. They looked like a fox and a dog playing. It felt great for Hana. She felt like a child again, not a soldier. She wished it could last forever. But all great things must come to an end. I hope you enjoyed yourself in Harem, spoke Naruto as they approached her home. I did, Naruto-kun, she said. I felt like a pup again. She admitted, blushing. She then stared at Naruto. How would you like to come in? It was Naruto's turn to blush. He quickly recomposed himself. He leaned in to kiss her and turned to leave. He didn't get far. In front of him were the triplets, growling fiercely at him. They seemed to have surrounded him. The center triplet stepped forward and pointed his paw toward Hana. I think I'll take you up on that offer, Hana-chan, he stated, but could you call off the triplets? You go. Hello, Uzuhaime, he greeted as he handed her the flowers. Hello, Naruto-kun, she returned. They are beautiful, so where are we going? Well, I know how you're tired after Anbu and rarely relax, he spoke, and she admitted it was all true. So I've planned for a smooth and calm evening for you. Naruto held to his word. He had taken her to see the latest Princess Gale movie. It was a few days after airing, so it was relatively empty. They watched in peace. Yu-Gi-Oh was impressed when Naruto made no attempts to feel her up. He simply let her watch in peace. Once the movie had finished, they had taken a stroll through an abandoned park. I've got to admit, Naruto-kun, she started, this simple evening has been amazing. Deciding to take a break, they sat on a bench. He noticed that Yu-Gi-Oh would constantly rub her shoulders. Are you okay? He asked. Yu-Gi-Oh smiled at his concern. Yes, just a little stiff. I could give you a shoulder rub, he offered, if you don't mind. If you do, I totally understand. She thought the offer over in her head. He seems to want to help. He hasn't made any perverted attempts. I'll trust him. Sure, she answered. Turning so that she wasn't facing him, they began. He started by giving gentle rubs and kneads. These earned groans of pleasure from Yu-Gi-Oh. With these encouragements, he added a bit of pressure, and the groans grew louder. Naruto, would you mind adding a little chakra? She requested. I don't mind, but my chakra isn't ... good, he offered. My chakra destroys while my blood heals. Oh, she had forgotten about the fox. I could use that, he offered. Why, your blood? Yes, but... He trailed off. But what? You'll need to take off your shirt. He flinched and brought his hands up for defense. Not the face. Relax, I'm not going to hit you, Naruto, she assured him. I've already taken my shirt off. When did you? He asks. Why? You're wearing a blindfold, she explained. As long as it stays on, then I know you aren't a pervert. Don't worry, he promised, it'll stay on. Pulling out a kunai, he made a small but deep cut on each hand. He let the blood fill his hand before the wound healed. They closed faster now. Began to rub around where she felt the tensest. The groans increased further as the blood healed the pain. Naruto-kun, called Yu-Gi-Oh. Yes, he asked. Instead of answering, she simply turned toward him. Because of the blindfold, he wasn't aware of the expression on her face. Leaning forward, she gave him a deep kiss. It was a complete surprise to Naruto, but he loved it. Before he knew it, she had knocked him to the ground, removed his blindfold, and some of their clothes. Yu-Gi-Oh-chan, he gasped, you're moving a bit too fast. SHH, she shushed him. But Yu-Gi-Oh, she silenced him by drawing a kunai, and slamming down, beside his head. She drew a second one. You were saying? She asked. Nothing. Tiranai. Hello, Benihime, he greeted, handing the flowers over. Hell, Naruto-kun, she greeted with a smile. What have you planned? I was thinking a nice dinner, he stated. There is a place that makes great seafood. Taking his arm, they shunshined away. They appeared in front of a small, casual restaurant. Hello, I'd like a table for two, requested Naruto. Table for one coming right up. The greeter spoke with a sneer. If you would please follow me, miss. I think you misheard him, spoke Kurenai. He said a table for two, she spoke with emphasis. I'm sorry, miss, but we don't serve. He seemed to think of a right word that. He pointed as if accusing it would be bad for business. I see, spoke Naruto. Time to gather my first bit of fear. Removing his blindfold, he allowed his new eyes to be seen. Seeing the fear in the greeter, he decided to take it up a bit. He allowed his hinge to unravel, slowly for added effect. He gave his best feral smile. It would have made Anko proud. Now about that table, he stated coldly. Tea table for two, coming up. They were quickly seated and abandoned by the greeter. The waiter, after seeing the look, took their orders and disappeared. As he attempted to reapply his disguise, but was stopped. I want the real you, she stated. It was not a request. What do we have here? Came a new voice. Turning to the source, they saw Asuma Sarutobi, son of Hiruzen Sarutobi. Hello, Asuma-kusen, she quickly corrected Naruto. This is my friend Asuma, she said, getting a raised eyebrow from Asuma. Nice to meet you, Naruto, he greeted, ignoring Naruto's appearance. You don't mind if I join you, do you? No? Great, he said, pulling up a chair before either could answer. It's not as if this is a date, is it? Actually, it is, corrected Kurenai. What Asuma was in total shock, but he. Later, Asuma stated, Kurenai fiercely, we'd like to enjoy our date. She really hoped he caught the hint. He didn't. How did you two meet? He asked. I'm trying to teach him a bit on Genjutsu, she answered. Genjutsu, huh? He thought on it. Wouldn't you prefer ninjutsu? Or even taijutsu? It seemed reasonable with all the chakra and stamina Naruto was said to possess. It was well known from his prank sprees. Actually, I've seen how useful Genjutsu is firsthand, stated Naruto. For taijutsu, a blade can do a lot more than a punch. I understand the blade part, I use them myself, agreed Asuma, but you usually can't use Genjutsu in combat without support, time, or focus. Reasoned Asuma, but Genjutsu can usually be easily broken in multiple ways. Yes, but you also can't use a ninjutsu because of allies, surroundings, and even bystanders. Countered Naruto. Also, if the Genjutsu is strong enough or the wielder is skilled enough, then those things are unimportant. True, but Kurenai was upset that Asuma was ridiculing Genjutsu, her specialty. She was happy that Naruto was defending the art. As she watched the arguments continue, their food arrived, as did Asuma's. When did he order? Asuma then began to light a cigarette. This seemed to irritate Kurenai, which in turn irritated Naruto. If Asuma noticed their expressions, he happily ignored it. Could you please not light that here? Asked Naruto. Asuma took a light look around before speaking. Don't worry, he said, there are no smoking signs. This irritated both Kurenai and Naruto further. Okay, how about this? Tried Naruto. Let's make a deal. What kind? If I can prove, right here, right now, that Genjutsu is just as useful as ninjutsu. He thought, then you pay for our dinner. Deal, he agreed, and if not, you pay for my steak and rice. Maggot, stated Naruto. Fear, here I come. What? Asked Asuma, confused. He didn't like Naruto's smile. Is there something squirming in my mouth? They're eating maggots. Asuma looked down at his food. There on his plate were maggots squirming on his food. The food itself looked rancid and had a mixture of various trashes. Realizing what the squirming in his mouth was, he began to vomit. He wasn't able to continue emptying his stomach. It was as if his very mouth had been sealed shut. It didn't stop the puke from filling up. Looking toward Naruto, he saw a deformed face. It seemed to be a male, the fox, and a man. The shock was too much for him. Jumping from his seat, he saw that the seat was empty. All of the seats were empty. He did hear a chuckling and felt a piercing sensation in his back. Turning, he saw that it was Naruto. He was holding a kunai that he had lodged deep into Asuma. He continued to twist the blade, drawing out the agony in the jounin. Naruto then raised his hand and made to punch Asuma in the face. Attempting to block, Asuma raised his arms. He never felt the blow come. Opening his eyes, he saw that he was still sitting at the table. Naruto was giving an attempted and failed, innocent look. Kurenai only sat back with a smug expression on her face. What was that about Genjutsu, Asuma? She asked. Also, I'll have you know we changed our orders. She chuckled. It wasn't cheap. How did he do that? He asked. I never even saw him weave any hand signs. He looked at them before her words sunk in. When did you two order and eat? I was out for only a few seconds. There weren't any hand signs, Naruto admitted, and with Genjutsu time becomes irrelevant. That kind of Genjutsu takes years of experience. Asuma shouted. Or just a great teacher, countered Naruto. Kurenai blushed at the compliment. I had a student that was as very eager to learn. Their eyes met and they shared a blush. Kurenai felt like a girl on her first date. Naruto was a boy on his first date. A deal is a deal, Asuma admitted before reaching around his pockets. Oh dear, it seems I've forgotten my wallet. He spoke, trying to be sly. Well, that's too bad for you, spoke Naruto with a smile, because we've already left. With that, both Kurenai and Naruto faded out of reality. Sir, I was told to give you the bill for your companions, spoke the waiter. Looking at the bill, Asuma felt his heart stop. She wasn't kidding when she said it wasn't cheap. He looked at his cigarette. If I smoke my whole pack, now will it kill me and keep me from paying? There is only one way to find out. Somewhere in some park, Kurenai and Naruto were sharing a laughing fit. When they regained control of themselves, they began walking toward her apartment. Oh, Naruto-kun, that was truly hilarious, she spoke. Where did you learn to do that? I used what you tried to teach me in those scrolls, he explained. I then added a little change. Well, it was amazing. She stated. You taught him not to underestimate Genjutsu, and I'm sorry he ruined our evening. I'm sorry that he ruined our date, stated Naruto in a sadder tone. It's okay, she assured honestly. Well, I'd feel much better if I could make it up to you, he stated. I know, look that way. He gestured toward the sky. Looking in the direction, she saw something that truly amazed her. The sunset. She watched as the village was illuminated by the setting fireball. It was as if the sun was trapped in a state of orange and crimson perfection. He did this for me, she thought to herself in amazement. The raw beauty was overwhelming. Kurenai couldn't stop the single tear that escaped from her eye, and like that it was gone. Sorry, I couldn't hold it any longer, panted Naruto. I need more practice. He then saw her tear-stricken face. Oh no, Kurenai-chan, what's wrong? She looked at him and smiled. He really cares, she thought. Nothing is wrong, Naruto-kun, she assured him. I didn't mean to make you cry. He was cut off by a finger to the lip. Kurenai then leaned in and gave him a chaste kiss. She then deepened it as their tongues fought for supremacy. And like the Genjutsu, it came to an end all too quickly. Naruto-kun, she asked, would you like to come in for some coffee? Now Naruto wasn't the smartest, but even he knew what she meant. There would be no coffee if he entered. I'm not a coffee per. He stopped at the scene in front of him. Kurenai was staring blankly at him, as if dead. Her hair seemed to be moving on its own. The shadows seemed to crawl around her. This all made her crimson eyes all the more vivid. Naruto-kun, she stated coldly, I'm sure you will love some of my coffee. See, coffee, yes, sounds great, he spoke. Next day, Anko. Morning. Naruto-kun greeted Anko as she watched Naruto awake only seconds after her. How are you this morning? I'm fine, Hebaihime, and you? He asked. Good, but, she trailed off. But, what? Naruto asked. There is something I want to try, she explained, and so far no man has wanted to even give it a try. Well, what is it? He asked. I'll prove I'm not like other men. He stated. Oh, you have Foxy-kun, she admitted again and again and again. She snickered, but what I want to try is a jutsu for what we've been doing. Sure, he was open for more of last night. Great, she squealed. Enjoy trouser snake jutsu. Naruto proceeded to stare at Anko. He then made a dash for the front door. Unfortunately, it was blocked by a mass of snakes. The front was blocked and behind was Anko. Only one option left. He jumped out the window. They always run, one of Anko's snakes spoke. Yeah, guess I'll go see how the other dates went. Hana, I'll be getting those grandpups in no time, thought soon. Before noticing the silence, they finally stopped. Finally, cried several members of the family. As the people laid themselves down to sleep, they felt bliss. Time for some well-deserved rest before work. Ring, ring, ring. The alarm clocks went off. It was time to begin another day of work. Several of the family members began to cry. All they wanted was to get some sleep. As Naruto and Hana stepped out of Hana's room, they were greeted by several faces. Sum, who was looking at Naruto and Hana in great interest. Kiba, who eyed them both in disbelief. Several Inuzuka men in envy. Several Inuzuka women in jealousy. Sum spoke first. I want to name some of the grandpups. Dobe, shouted Kiba, what are you doing here? He looked at Hana. And with my sister. Hey, don't blame me, spoke Naruto. Blame the triplets, they forced me to stay. The triplets themselves were regretting their actions. They, like all present, didn't get any sleep. Shikamakimaru ordered Kiba. Okay, I can't fight him because he's Hana's brother. What can I do? Naruto did what any man would do when faced with his predicament. He ran like the devil was after him. Get back here, Uzumaki roared Kiba, you'll pay for defiling my sister and keeping the clan up all night. I guess I'll go meet the girls, thought Hana. You go. When Naruto awoke, he noticed that he was in an empty bed. When did we leave the park? There was, however, a note and a scroll. Dear Naruto-kun, have Ambu meeting, then meeting with the girls. Feel free to raid fridge, then practice katas in scroll. You go. PS from Anko. No, 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 dodge. Kurenai. Kurenai awoke to an empty bed. She looked around the room and saw that his cloths were gone as well. She felt a great pain in her heart. No, he's just like the rest. The tears of the betrayal she felt just fell. Kurenai-chan, you awake? Asked Naruto from nowhere. I made breakfast. He noticed her teary face. Is everything okay? Yes, Naruto-kun, she answered quickly, but I can't eat. I have to meet the girls. I can't believe I doubted him. Girls. They headed to their usual meeting spot. When they arrived, they noticed that each of them had a certain glow. It was one they themselves were familiar with and were experiencing. They each pointed a finger at another and shouted, you slept with Naruto-kun. They accused of each other. They eyed each other before breaking. Those hands spoke Yugo. That body spoke Kurenai. That size spoke Anko. That stamina spoke Hana. That tongue, they spoke as one. They then sat around each other as they each recounted their dates with Naruto. Each Kunoichi began going into their more graphic night activities, which happened to go early into the morning. They were interrupted by a cough, 3 to be exact. Hello, girls, spoke Hayate, eyeing Yugo. We were just wondering why you were sleeping with Naruto, continued Uruka toward Anko. When you are supposed to be Asuma to Kurenai. Dating us. They finished as one. We can explain. They said, ever since Naruto changed, his training was upped. He didn't mind, in fact he was happy. His progress was what most considered genius. Naruto, however, wouldn't take that kind of credit. He gave credit to his sensei and his longtime companion. They never questioned Naruto on his change after that. They didn't care, they trusted him. They also trained him in stuff outside of combat. Hana was happy to finally have something to train Naruto in. His newly heightened senses, it was perfect for her. There were basic manners and politics taught by Kurenai. To his misery, there was human anatomy by Anko and basic sealing. Yugo taught Naruto about a lot of the village laws. Ever since he learned Genjutsu, his pranks have increased. Naruto's relationship with his sensei has also been amazing. They kept it mostly a secret from the general populace to avoid the hate. Kiba kept silent so many wouldn't know that he was dating Hana. They would keep each other company in public, though he kept his henge on. He also kept his blindfold on to help him with his sensing. He had improved greatly without a proper teacher. The Hokage was aware of his new changes and abilities. At first he nearly had a heart attack, much to the fox's delight. Naruto made him promise to keep it a secret until he was ready to reveal it. However, neither the Hokage nor his senseis knew of the fear collecting. They also didn't that he was receiving extra training from the fox. They were some of the few people he didn't want fear from. When he wasn't with the mistresses or ice queens as the male populace named them, he kept busy. He often trained with Team 9. 10-10 and Lee were very fond of Naruto. The Hyuga was another story. Neji seemed to think Naruto was a weakling. He tried to challenge Naruto to a fight, often insulting him. Naruto would just ignore him and act as if the Hyuga was beneath him. He often thanked his sensei for teaching him to control his emotions. Even when he slept, he was busy. He would often spend this time with Kyuubi. The fox had taught Naruto a lot of Genjutsu, even taught him a bit of Kenjutsu. When he awoke, he instantly started training in everything. I love clones. The fox taught Naruto more about his new bloodline. The more fear he gathered, the more powerful both would become. His illusions would become stronger and more realistic to the victim, and he would also become stronger and faster. If he looked someone in the eyes, he could find their worst fears. However, he could only use fox Genjutsu with Kyuubi's chakra. When he gathered enough, he could use his skill without limit. When he wasn't training himself, he trained the Konohamaru Corps. He hadn't taught them any jutsu. He did help increase their speed, stamina, and stealth. They were now physically better than Sakura. They had collected a lot of fear, but nowhere near enough. He needed to gather true despair. Training wasn't all he did. When with his Heims, he would relax, often giving them massages or taking them on dates. There was, however, a major downer in his happiness. Naruto Baka screamed, "Sakura, pay attention." His team, and he used that title loosely. They were no team of his. If any, his would be Team 9 minus Neji. Naruto had to deal with his team's insults and constant ridicule. His sensei would ignore it and him. He has also neglected to teach Naruto anything, often favoring the Uchiha. Sakura just sat on the sidelines doing nothing but praising Sasuke and ridiculing Naruto. Not that he showed much. He held everything back during their team bonding exercise and training. He would bide his time to show them what I can really do. He couldn't wait. He even continued his sensor training, not even putting a Genjutsu over the blindfold. "Alright, what mission do you want today?" asked their leader. "We have babysitting, gardening, catching too." "Please don't say that cat's name," begged Naruto. "Can't we get a real mission, not these chores?" "Naruto, you are still fresh, genin," ranted Iruka. "Taking a higher mission will require months of experience, and hey, are you listening?" "Old man," shouted Naruto, "if I don't get a real mission, I'll teach your paper to multiply." The Hokage paled at the threat. He was sure Naruto could and would do it. Naruto spoke an uncaring Kakashi. "You shouldn't threaten your superiors, especially one adobe like you couldn't go through with," spoke the arrogant Uchiha. "Hokage-sama," spoke Naruto in a lower tone, "I've already taught the paper Shadow Clone Jutsu." Looking at his desk, everyone noticed that the paper had multiplied. It was so much that the stacks couldn't keep balance. They soon fell over and he couldn't tell which he finished and which he still had to do. Iruka, "Get them an S-rank mission," ordered the village leader. "Get it now or else." He was cut off. "Hokage-sama," shouted the Chunin in disbelief. "They are genin." "Alright," the old leader agreed. I lost my head for a second. I have a C-ranked," he stated. "Send in the bridge builder." At his order, an old man walked in. He seemed to be drunk and continued to drink sake. He eyed the genin. "These are the snot-nosed brats who are supposed to watch me," he asked. "They look like they'll wet themselves and run at the first sign of danger." He eyed them closely, especially the short, blonde one. Everyone was surprised when they didn't have to restrain Naruto. He simply looked at the client and stated, "We are shinobi, we are meant to be deceiving." He used his best Anko smile, "But if you want sinister, then just say so." The minute he saw Naruto's smile, he nearly wet himself. Many of the occupants felt the same way. "And no thanks," he readjusted himself. "I'm the super bridge builder Tazuna. You are to protect me with your lives." "Don't worry, Tazuna-san," stated Kakashi. "I'm a jounin and Sasuke here is my best student. We can handle anything." Naruto and the Hokage frowned at the statement. It was the sign of a teacher playing favorites. "I'll have to have a talk with Kakashi." "Alright, Team 7," called the Hokage. "You leave for your mission in an hour, so go prepare." They left. "Wait, Naruto," he called. "The papers are still multiplying." It was too late. Naruto was already gone. "Iruka, help," the aged leader begged. Iruka looked as the number papers grew and grew by the second. It was truly maddening. He didn't want a part in it. "I wonder how Anko is doing." With that thought, he decided to go for a walk, a long walk. It had only taken Naruto 10 minutes to prepare for his mission. He had already prepared a scroll of all he needed. An hour later, they were in front of the gate. "Well, it looks like the dope forgot to pack," chided Sasuke. "Baka, now we have to wait for you to go pack," added the Uchiha's pet. "Actually, I have everything sealed away," stated Naruto, showing the scroll keeps me from carrying a bulky bag everywhere. He pointed to their bags. They couldn't think of a comeback for his statement. "Naruto, that's a bit advanced for a genin," stated Kakashi. "Where did you?" "Who are you?" asked Naruto. "What do you mean?" asked Kakashi. "You're on time," spoke Sakura in disbelief. "Just head out," he ordered. "On time once and they think I'm a stranger." The trip was mostly uneventful. The only thing interesting was that Naruto was silent. "Hey Baka, why are you so quiet?" asked Sakura. "If you're thinking, then don't, you'll only hurt yourself." He was about to respond when he saw a puddle. "Kurenai-chan would be so insulted if she saw that," he stated. "What are you talking about, Baka?" "Saw what?" asked Sakura louder than needed. "And who is Kurenai?" Everyone just ignored her. As they passed the puddle, 2 mist shinobi jumped out. The duo made their way toward Kakashi, surrounding him with their shuriken chain claw gauntlet. With a mighty pull, they severed the joun into pieces. Sakura saw this and started screaming. "One down," spoke the first. "More to go," finished the second. They ran for Tazuna, but Naruto jumped in way to protect the client. The closest struck with his claws into Naruto. With a mighty tug he disemboweled the blonde. The lifeless body collapsed as his innards fell to the ground. They made their way toward Tazuna, only to be clotheslined by Kakashi. The Demon Brothers, two Chunin-ranked Miss Ninja with great speed, he restrained both of them out and tied them up. Sensei cried, "Sakura, you're alive." She looked toward the body only to see logs. "You used replacement," she stated. "Yes, but your friend died," stated Tazuna, pointing to the remains on Naruto. "Who cares about that dope?" asked Sasuke. "He only slowed me down." "Yeah, he only got in between me and Sasuke," stated Sakura. "He's better off dead." "How can you allow them to speak like that of their teammate?" asked Tazuna. "He died to protect me. He wasn't even an adequate shinobi," stated the sensei. "He won't be missed." "It's nice to see what you think of me," stated Naruto's walking from behind a tree. "My team and sensei." "Dobe, how are you alive?" howled Sasuke. "We saw you get gutted." Naruto said nothing. He just glared at them as walked toward his team. Good thing he had control, or he might have sent them into a nightmare. "Naruto Baki, you answer Sasuke now," ordered Sakura. Or else what, Haruno?" he asked with such venom. "You aren't even a threat to an academy student." This caught everyone, minus Tazuna, by surprise. Naruto never badmouthed Sakura, even as he started acting strange. In a moment of rage, Sakura charged Naruto with a raised fist. Naruto, seeing her attack, simply backslapped her. The blow caught her across the face and knocked her a few feet across the ground. She sat on the ground in disbelief. She stared up at Naruto, and even though she couldn't see his eyes, she could feel them. "Enough is enough, Sakura," he stated. "I won't allow you to continue using me as a punching bag." The others were in disbelief as well. Naruto had struck Sakura. "Naruto, that was uncalled for," stated Kakashi. "Apologize now or I will have your license revoked." "If you do, then you will have Haruno punished," stated Naruto. "She attacked me on a mission, not including all of the other times she struck me." He drew a kunai. "In fact, I could execute her right here and now without any repercussion." "Why, you wouldn't do that to me, would you, Naruto-kun?" she asked. That seemed to only make him angrier. "Wait, I'll go on a date with," she offered. He didn't even seem to think it over. "Sensei, make him stop," she begged, running behind their teacher, crying like a child. "That is enough, Naruto," stated Kakashi. "Stand down or I will have your license revoked for abandoning the client." This was met with a chuckle from Naruto. "I never abandoned the client," he stated. "Tazuna, come on out." At his call, another Tazuna appeared from behind one of the trees. It seemed the bridge builder was ready to make a run for it. "You sure everything is safe?" he asked, gaining a nod from Naruto. "Good, glad that. I could have your license revoked for abandoning the client and your students," stated Naruto, backing Kakashi into a corner. "How are there two of the client, Dobe?" asked the Uchiha as the Tazuna closest began to fade away. "I placed a Genjutsu on the area and hide the real Tazuna," he stated. "I needed to know who they were after." "Kid had me terrified the whole time," he stated. "I'm not going to kill you, Haruno, so stop crying," he ordered. "I need you alive so I can continue the mission." "Actually, Naruto," started Kakashi, hoping to get some revenge since these ninja are after Tazuna. "As you revealed, we will have to cancel. It's too dangerous." "Nice work, Baka," shouted Haruno after regaining herself. "Now Sasuke-kun won't have a perfect record." "The omission means I don't need you, Haruno." That sent her back to begging and crying. "Please beg the bridge builder. Wave needs your help," and he went on trying to guilt-trip the team. "Don't worry, Tazuna-san," stated Naruto. "We're going to complete the mission." "That is my decision, Naruto," stated Kakashi. "Not yours. This is a C-rank turn to rank. If you don't want people to know your actions, we will complete the mission," stated Naruto. "Are you threatening me, Genin?" he asked, his rage at the boiling point. "That is a grave offense." "No, I'm blackmailing you like a shinobi," he stated. "What was your motto again?" "We will continue the mission." Kakashi strained out. "Dobe, where did you learn those illusions?" asked the Uchiha. Naruto made no attempt to answer. "I demand you tell me." Naruto just continued walking. Sasuke, enraged at being ignored by the Dobe, drew a kunai and tried to attack him. The key word is tried. Somehow he was on the ground with the kunai gone. It was in Naruto's hand, which he had pointed at Sasuke's eye. "Are you attacking me as well, Uchiha?" Naruto asked, knowing the question. "Maybe instead of killing you, I'll just pluck an eye out." Collecting fear is becoming addicting, he thought. "Enough," Naruto shouted. "Kakashi, let's just continue the mission." "One sec, the blonde. I need to collect my trophies." "Well, tell you nothing," one brother stated. "I don't need either of you," Naruto stated. Raising his blindfold, he stared the brothers in the eye. They looked back. A second later, they were asleep. Pulling out a scroll, he sealed the mist nin claws inside. "Kid, what did you just do?" asked Tazuna. "I knocked them out," stated Naruto, holding the scroll. "My girlfriend will love these weapons." Like a baka, like she never finished. "I will end you," he simply stated, cutting her off, and she believed him. The rest of the trip went without incident, but was still agonizing. The Uchiha would demand his techniques while Haruno would cheer him on. "I sense a present," thought Naruto there. Drawing a kunai, he threw it toward where he felt the signal. This put everyone on guard. He relished in their fear. When he went to investigate, he saw a white rabbit. This caused Sakura to start yelling again. "That color is out of season." "Though, Kakashi, what are you doing?" asked Tazuna. "Are you trying to give me a heart attack?" "I'm going to cook this rabbit up," Naruto stated. "Rabbit stew is amazing. Oh, and you all might want to dodge." At his words, a large cleaver-like sword came hurtling through the forest. The genin ducked to the ground while Kakashi brought Tazuna down. The cleaver impaled itself into a tree. On top of the handle was the enemy. It was another Kiri shinobi. This guy is giving off some powerful chakra, better drop my weights. Zabuza Mamachi stated, Kakashi, demon of the hidden mist. Kakashi Haddock, the man who copied 1,000 jutsus. No wonder the demon brothers lost. Zabuza returned hand over the bridge builder, the nin ordered, then added in the rabbit. This rabbit is going into my stew, stated Naruto, get your own. Taking a minute to think, you can have the Haruno, he said, it's a fair trade, a harmless creature for a useless creature. I think I'll stick with the rabbit. Enough, stated Kakashi, we won't be handing over the bridge builder. I see, he laughed, well let's begin. Jumping away, he landed in front of a lake. Hidden mist jutsu. As its name said, mist began to fill the area. Everyone, behind me, ordered Kakashi. Zabuza is a member of the 7 Swordsmen and a master of the silent killing technique. He raised his headband and uncovered his eye. I'll need this. A Sharingan, how does sensei have that? Asked Sasuke. Well, at least he can't copy my Genjutsu, thought Naruto. 8 point came, said master voice, larynx, spine, lungs, liver, jugular, subclavian artery, kidney, heart. He named, which will I go for? As the mist became thicker, the fear began to set in. It was getting to all the genin minus Naruto. One of his teachers, Anko, thought he should be ready for the killer intent of battle. That's it, Zabuza, make them nice and afraid. The Uchiha is about to slice himself. Naruto then felt a chakra signature appear behind him. Using the speed from all of his training, he turned toward the signatures. He impaled Zabuza with a kunai. However, instead of blood, he got water. The whole body just fell apart in a puddle. Water clone, huh? That kid has some skill, complimented Zabuza. Your fight is with me, stated Kakashi. Sorry, but does anyone care? Run, shouted Kakashi, take Tazuna and get out of here. This fight was over when I was caught. And where would we go? Asked Naruto calmly. This guy would just find us and cut us down. As he spoke, the area started filling with water clones. You should just leave the bridge builder, stated Zabuza. I have no time for kids playing ninja. This coming from a man pretending to be a demon. Taunted Naruto and raging Zabuza, let me give you a taste of your own medicine. Handing the rabbit to Tazuna, he stepped forward onto the water. My own medicine? Zabuza asked before laughing. What can a kid like you do? You've probably never even spilled blood. Do you think you're the only one who messes with the enemy senses? He asked. The only one who induces fear. He allowed his weights to drop so he could adjust. Reaching into his pocket, he pulled out a scroll and unsealed a sword. The handle was average, but the rest was anything but. The blade was crimson red. The guard was actually a fox head holding the blade between its teeth. Well, that's an impressive sword, Zabuza complimented, but nothing out of the ordinary. Really? Asked Naruto. Something sure smells good. Realization hit everyone. The area was lightly filled with a sweet aroma. Zabuza tried to cover his bandaged nose, but the smell got through. No use, Zabuza stated Naruto to an upside-down Zabuza. Welcome to the inverted world. How is this kid upside down? He looked around before realizing he was the one upside down. How did I get upside down? This is the power of my invert, he stated. I reverse one's sense of direction. He looked and saw his everyone else was affected before charging. I don't own bleach. That is interesting, Zabuza stated, but not original. Zabuza turned around to face Naruto. He swung the blade toward the blonde, only for Naruto to disappear. A gash appeared on his arm a second later. Naruto appeared upside down to his left where he swung. Naruto again vanished and a scar appeared on Zabuza's back. This continued for a few moments as his team watched in disbelief. How is that dope doing something I can't do? Asked the so-called Avenger. I deserve that power, not him. As Naruto continued to dance around Zabuza, he felt something off. There was no fear coming from Zabuza. He needed to end the fight. Tightening his grip, he charged forward and struck at Zabuza. He brought his blade into range. He struck. He missed. Zabuza had backstepped. The rogue swordsman then swung his sword at Naruto. As the sword came in contact with Naruto, the blonde scattered in an explosion of black rose petals. They reformed into Naruto a large distance away. As the blonde stood there, he covered his chest. He had been able to avoid a fatal blow, but not without some damage. You're good, kid, but as I said, unoriginal, complimented Zabuza. You only distort the sense of sight. It's been done. He stated, I, however, am a master of the silent killing technique. I can take you out with sound alone and you couldn't hide your footsteps. Realization hit. He needed a new plan. He dropped the invert technique and began to think. Time to put my Genjutsu to the test, he thought. Let's go, Zabuza. Taking the stance Yugao had him train, and he prepared. Let's see if a member of the 7 Swordsmen is more than a title. This kid is still willing to fight. Zabuza was impressed. It'll be nice to cut down another swordsman. Zabuza took a swing at Naruto, who blocked. The blow was very heavy for the blonde, but he managed. Giving a heave, he barely pushed Zabuza's sword back, giving a clear view of the older swordsman's stomach. Taking the open shot, he jabbed his sword towards Zabuza. The demon swordsman merely sidestepped. He then swung and swatted the blonde a few feet away with the side of his massive sword. Naruto stood. He needed to stop Zabuza, and fast. Zabuza made the move. Leaping forward, he attempted a downward slash. Naruto quickly jumped back, but Zabuza was persistent. He tried to defend, but the blows were too heavy and getting heavier. Zabuza delivered a kick that sent the blonde tumbling back. While Naruto was off balance, he went in for the kills. He cleaved Naruto in half. Naruto dispersed into black rose petals and let them scatter far and wide. While they held a distraction, he reformed overhead. Coming down, he intended to impale Zabuza through the head. The demon of the mist turned and with a massive swing cleaved through Naruto, only to go up in smoke. Crushing snake constriction Naruto activated. Thank you Anko. Zabuza couldn't move. He was being held by a snake, it began to squeeze him. More Genjutsu pulsing his chakra it dispelled. Naruto had already reached him. Dance of the Crescent Moon. Using his clones he split into 3 different Narutos. The first 2 charged from either side while the third disappeared. As the first 2 came in range they each struck. Zabuza back-paced and gutted the first which had tried to attack head-on, only for him to go up and smoke one down. Raising his sword he blocked the second strike. With another mighty swing he decapitated him, only for them to go up and smoke as well. Where is he? On cue the final Naruto came from above. He delivered a powerful cut towards Zabuza's torso. Before he could strike again he too was cut down. As he looked around he saw no trace of Naruto. He looked toward the kid's team and smirked. It seems he ditched you, mocked Zabuza, holding his wound. Too bad. Well, who's next? The other 2 grew terrified. Before he could move toward them he was stopped. Looking toward his feet he saw vines holding him. String beam binding illusion. The vine continued to grow. They wrapped around Zabuza, raising him into the air. They tightened themselves to restrict the victim's movement. Actually, I was just setting this up, stated Naruto, appearing from inside a giant bean pod. What are you afraid of? He asked as he began removing his blindfold. Before he could do so completely, Zabuza started dissolving into water. A water clone. When did he? You were good, he spoke behind Naruto, but not good enough. Raising his sword he slashed at Naruto. The wound was a large gash across the blonde's chest. Thanks to his high pain tolerance he could barely stand it. Okay, new plan. Standing to full height he summoned a clone. With an unspoken order the clone transformed into a windmill shuriken. A shuriken, he said, impressive henge, but I'm tired of Genjutsu. He then took a ready stance. Besides, you'll never touch me with it. Naruto did his best to hide his smirk. The same mistake my Heims made. Taking aim he threw the shuriken towards Zabuza. As it grew closer he casually leaned to the side. As the shuriken passed him it slightly cut his cheek. That cut was enough. That shuriken is real. He thought, looking toward the direction it was heading. He wasn't aiming for me. He was aiming for the water clone. The real target was hit. The water clone was dispelled and Kakashi was free. I knew I couldn't beat you on my own, so I freed someone who could, stated an exhausted Naruto. Now you 2 play nice, he stated before moving toward land. The 2 Jounin squared off. They began circling each other's. While Zabuza stated, Kakashi, let's see if you've got enough in you to continue. They began weaving their hand signs. Water style, water dragon jutsu, they shouted simultaneously. From the water rose 2 giant water snakes. They tore above all present. Their attacks collided. It seemed that they were evenly matched. Kakashi will need an edge to win this. They began weaving again. No. Hey, no brows, he called, drawing Zabuza's attention. Ha, you looked. Taking a serious demeanor he called. Invert. Zabuza went wide-eyed. Turning his body around, he aimed the jutsu behind him. Water style, giant vortex jutsu. Had nothing. Water style, giant vortex jutsu. Turning to the sound he saw Kakashi wasn't behind him. He was in fact to his side, too close for Zabuza to defend or dodge. He took the hit head on. The force behind the jutsu was too much. It carried the Rujnin all the way to land, knocking him into a tree. Demonic illusion, tree binding death. The tree seemed come alive as it wrapped around Zabuza. From the tree emerged Naruto as if he were a part of it. He loomed over Zabuza, kunai in hand. Surrender, Zabuza, Naruto ordered. You've lost. Zabuza struggled but didn't have the necessary energy. The demon of the mist gave a glare worthy of his title at the blonde. He stiffened as 2 senbon needles impaled his neck. Then the fallen nin went limp. Looking toward the one whom through the needle he saw a masked figure. A hunter nin he remembered from his studies. The figure stood beside his team, motioning for him to bring Zabuza forward. He did so. Thank you for distracting him, the hunter nin stated. I've been tracking him for a while. No problem, replied Naruto calmly, but on guard. You were here for a while, why not aid us? The figure stayed silent. I see. Naruto, stop harassing the hunter nin, ordered Kakashi. Hands Zabuza over. Boo, that is an order, Genin. Do what you're told, Baka shrieked Sakura from behind their sensei. Alright, stated Naruto, don't blame me when this fake hunter nin kills us. Fake? They asked as one. Grabbing Zabuza, the fake hunter nin disappeared in a shunshin, appearing behind Tazuna. The hunter nin then grabbed the rabbit and left again. No, my rabbit stew, wailed Naruto. What happened? Asked Tazuna. I was ordered to let the enemy live and ended up losing my chance at rabbit stew, Naruto stated. By the way, Kakashi, good night. In 3.2.1 at the end their sensei collapsed. What did you do to sensei? Asked Sakura. Fix him now or they'll never find your body, he stated, silencing her. Now Tazuna, is your house nearby? Dobe, I demand you. He was silenced as well. Sleep. The Uchiha was out like a light. He put Haruno under as well. No real reason behind it. He just wanted her out. Could you blame him? 20 minutes later they were at Tazuna's house. They had sat Kakashi down in a room to rest. It turned out he just had a mild case of chakra exhaustion. The next morning Naruto sensed a familiar chakra signature. Running to the door he saw one of the most beautiful faces ever. Helmaheim, he greeted, and Joy leaning in to kiss her. Foxy-kun greeted Anko. How are you doing? Better now that you're here, Hebiheim, he answered, not to sound rude, but why did the old man send you? I saved him from some paperwork. She eyed him. You wouldn't have anything to do with that, would you now, Naru-chan? Naruto wouldn't meet her gaze. When he continued to avoid eye contact she laughed. She walked in the room. Looking around she saw the family she would help in guarding. Naruto-san, asked Tsunami, Tezuna's daughter. Who is this? This is Anko-chan. He introduced Anko. This is Tsunami, Tezuna the bridge builder's daughter. Nice to meet you, Tsunami. Anko greeted. Where is the Cyclops, the Amo, and the pink howler monkey? Upstairs, she answered, giggling. When she entered the room, she saw Kakashi was asleep. The Uchiha was in a corner brooding, and Haruno was pestering him for a date. Hey Cyclops, Anko shouted, waking Kakashi, who whooped your butt. What are you doing here, Anko? Asked Kakashi. I haven't sent for any backup. I did, stated Naruto right after we were attacked by the demon brothers. We don't need help, Dobe stated Sasuke. I could have handled this mission with it. We ran into a rogue ninja called Zabuza. Sakura answered. Sensei got caught and Sasuke-kun was going to save me, but the baka got in the way and tried to show Sasuke-kun up, and she turned to glare to Naruto, then did something to him and Kakashi-sensei and me. So basically he saved you and now you're whining because it wasn't the Uchiha. Anko stated. She turned to Naruto. Tell me what really happened. Naruto lowered the blindfold to reveal one of his eyes. On contact, he activated a jutsu meant for briefing. Flashback jutsu. As the scenes replayed inside Anko's mind, she felt pride. Naruto had used the very skills that she and her friends taught him with great skill. He then admitted that he needed help and freed Kakashi. Nothing is wrong with your sensei, stated Anko. He just has chakra exhaustion from overusing that eye of his. What did you do to me, Dobe? The Sasuke asked. I put you under a simple genjutsu to knock you out, the blonde answered. It was actually pretty easy. The answer enraged the Uchiha. How could the Dobe put me in a genjutsu? I'm an Uchiha, the elite. It must be that sword, it has to be. No way that the Dobe is that strong on his own. Naruto, you have been acting brash this whole mission, stated Kakashi. Learn to respect your team or I'll have you punished. Yeah, Baka shouted. Sakura, you won't be as good as Sasuke-kun is. I don't know why I'm surprised. It's not like I just saved their lives. Naruto turned to the door to leave. Where are you going, Dobe? Naruto continued. I asked you a question, Dobe. Don't ignore your betters. Kakashi, shouted Anko. What do you think you're doing? She gave a glare that froze them. How can you have such a dysfunctional team? I tried to get them to work together, but some people, he glared at Naruto, don't understand the value of teamwork. That is a lie and a half. I've seen your form of teamwork. She stated. I've known about your negligence for a while now. She wasn't finished. Because of that, you have a group of unprepared genin on a dangerous mission. Anko, I believe I can effectively train my genin, stated Kakashi into his book. They've done well so far. Only thanks to Naruto, the one you neglected. She retorted. If it weren't for him, you'd all be dead. Why do you care so much about the baka? Sakura asked. It's like you're his girlfriend or something. I am, stated Anko. What? Shouted everyone in shock. You're dating Naruto. Naruto has a girlfriend. Come on, Naru-chan, called Anko. You can give me a full body massage. Wait, Dobe, Sasuke called. I demand you give me that sword and the claws from the demon brothers. He held his hand out. Someone like me could use them much better than you. Hell no, stated Naruto. Rage building. This sword is mine and the claws are for my other girlfriend. Other girlfriend? They asked. You're nothing but a pervert, screeched Sakura. That's probably my fault, admitted Anko, but it wasn't me alone. Women, I demand you take his weapons and give them to me, ordered Sasuke. I deserve them more than an abandoned nobody. Naruto has had enough. He was used to insults, but doing so to his family was his breaking point. He began reaching for his blindfold. Sasuke Uchiha, he growled. What you're afraid of? Naruto, shouted Anko. I think you should go for a walk. The blonde took a few deep breaths before calming. This is going to be a long mission. Okay, team, time for some training, called Kakashi. You will be learning something special today. Woods, sensei, you can't teach us in that condition, called Sakura. And why do we need to train? Zabuza is dead, right? Actually, I can, and no, he's not. He replied. Hunter Nin are supposed to destroy the bodies on the spot. That can only mean he's an ally to Zabuza. I did say he was a fake, stated Naruto. What will we be learning it? Asked Sasuke, hoping for a powerful jutsu. You will be learning to climb a tree without hands. How is that possible? Asked Sakura in amazement. Anko had a different feeling, annoyance at her comrade. You're just now teaching her the team tree climbing, she asked on an rank mission. She sighed. Let's go, Naru-chan, called Anko. I was given some stuff from the others for you on this mission. She gained her usual grin. We don't want you going soft in training without us. Anko, I'm afraid that Naruto must train like everyone else, stated Kakashi. He needs the chakra control the most. I already know it. Naruto stated. I've mastered up to Jounin level chakra control. There is no way you know that much, stated Sakura until she saw he wasn't listening. Hey, don't ignore me. Why are you wasting your time on a dobe like him? Asked Sasuke. You should be training me, not that. He was cut off by a kunai to the neck. I will choose who is worthy of my training, stated Anko as her killer intent flowed out. Let's go, Naru-chan. Anko is still a slave driver, he thought. Other parts of Woods. She had increased his weights and then gave him orders to start training immediately. He was happy to be learning new techniques, but he had limits. Running and dodging kunai while trying to learn new sword katas on top of water brings you to them fast. Why is the world spinning? Did I say you could take a break, Naru-chan? She said in a false sweet voice. Yes, he tried. Fine, let's break something, she grinned. I'm going for your legs. He was back to training. Anko looked at the exhausted Naruto and she was nothing but proud. He may not have mastered everything, but he was doing well. He's not even using his clones. He didn't want to be dependent on them. That is enough for now, Naruto, she called. No sooner had she said that he collapsed. Dinner should be ready. He seemed to find a bit of energy in her statement. When they arrived, they were greeted by the family. It seemed dinner was ready. Naruto hastily dug into his food. His peace didn't last. Dobe called the Uchiha. What did she teach you? None of your business, Team Naruto stated. Naruto Baka, you answer, Sasuke-kun shouted Sakura. Naruto did, stated Anko. You just don't like the answer. Naruto, it would be helpful to know what learned, stated Kakashi looking from his book. We could use it to our advantage. You mean give it to Sasuke to copy, stated Naruto. I won't give him my hard-earned skills. Why do you all train so hard? Asked a new person. It was Inari, Tsunami's son. You're all just going to die. No one can beat Gato. You should all just go back to your comfy homes. Kid, you shouldn't speak on things you know nothing about, stated Anko as Naruto tensed. Some people don't have the luxuries you think they do. You all think you can just come here and be heroes. Heroes don't exist. Inari shouted. None of you know suffering, so go back to your peaceful homes. Suffering? Asked Naruto in an icy tone. You don't know suffering. You live here with a family that loves you. He raised his head, glared at Inari. You have a food in your stomach and a warm place to sleep. Naruto Anko couldn't finish. The killer intent coming off of him is maddening. Are you hated for something you couldn't control? Have you beaten so badly and so often that you don't notice most pain? Do you go home every day to absolutely nothing? He stood. Maybe I should show you some of my pain. He began to raise his blindfold, but a hand stopped him. Anko then hugged him from behind and whispered something in his ear. As she continued, he began to calm himself. He turned to everyone present and stated, I'm going to go blow off some steam. He then shunshined away. Anko turned to look at the crying Inari. The massive killer intent had been too much for him to handle. Stop whining. You deserved it, she said. Just because you have it bad doesn't mean you have it the worst. That Baka probably made that all up, right, Sasuke-kun? Spoke Sakura. Chen was his response. You have no idea what Naruto has been through, hissed Anko. The trial he's endured just for living. She whispered, all for something he had no control over. Was it really that bad? Tsunami asked. No, Anko answered. What he said was the sugar-coated version. Woods. The next morning Naruto was lying in a field. He had done a lot of damage to the area. No tree was spared in his rage. Now he was enjoying some well-deserved rest. He then felt a chakra signature enter the field. It wasn't a member of Team 7, his Harem, Tezuna, or even one of his family members. It was, however, very familiar. His signature grew closer. Excuse me, the voice called. You'll catch a cold if you sleep out here. Don't worry, Naruto reassured. I have inside work on my immune system. He let out a quiet chuckle at his own joke. So what is a pretty lady like you doing out here all alone? You have a blindfold on. How do you know I'm alone? A thought then occurred. What makes you think I'm pretty? I know when someone's around the same way I know you're pretty, Naruto answered vaguely. He then lowered his blindfold and looked Haku in the eye. I was right, pretty. Their eyes met. As they looked deeper, they saw each other's pain. Those eyes are just like mine. They thought as one. And Naruto, by the way, you are. Haku, I'm picking herbs for my sick friend. Haku answered. Should I be worried that I'm alone? No. He hastily answered. My senseis would kill me if they thought I thought something perverted. He saw her work. Do you want any help? Sure, Haku answered. Naruto sat down beside Haku and began picking herbs. Haku wondered how Naruto saw which to pick but didn't ask. Naruto-san, are you a ninja, right? Asked Haku, gaining a nod. Are you strong? Yes, Naruto responded with pride, but I need to get stronger. Do you have anyone precious to you? Yes, Naruto answered with no hesitation. They are very few. He thought of each one, but I'd happily lay down my life for them. Then you will be truly strong, Haku stated. I think I have enough herbs. Thank you for your help. They stood and turned to leave. Hunter-san, Naruto called, stopping Haku. When I said I'd lay down my life for them, I meant it, he continued, but I'd make sure whoever hurt them suffered as well. Neither turned face the other. They began walking in their separate directions, although neither knew of the smile on the other's face. Naruto-san, where have you been? Asked Tsunami. The others have been worried. All of them were just Anko. She didn't answer, so he did. I had a strange day. I was told to give you something when you returned. Spoke Tsunami. It's a gift from Anko-san. He noticed she had a frying pan in her hand. No, he begged. Please don't. I'm sorry, but she took aim dodge. For a civilian, she had good aim. Bridge. Naruto had guard duty. He didn't mind. It was part of the mission after all. He was even able to collect a little fear from the nervous workers. He just wished they would stop quitting. Tezuna called a random worker. I just can't keep working on the bridge. He said, I'm sorry. Hey. Naruto called to the man. What do you think you're doing? I'm going home. He stated. So you're going to give up too? It wasn't a question. He turned to the remaining workers. Are you all just going to give up? A worker who was about to quit stepped forward. What choice do we have? He asked. Some of us have a family to provide for. We can't do that if we're dead. Naruto unfolded his blindfold. Huibai is going to hate me for this. He needed to help them. This bridge needed them. He looked into their minds for the cause of the fear. Builders of the bridge, I know what you all are afraid, he stated as he faded away. Gato appeared out from nowhere and stood with all of his arrogance. The builders were all afraid. If Gato was here, then that meant that he was going to stop them. They were going to die. What happened next shocked them all. Naruto reappeared behind Gato and sliced away at him. In one swing he removed the tyrant's head. As the body fell to the ground, it faded away. And I can help you rid yourselves of it, he stated, if you are still willing to work for the future of Wave. Naruto stood in silence. He waited for them to make their decision. Finally, one of the bridge builders stepped forward. We are done, he stated as they looked on in confusion. You are all willing to defy Gato, he elaborated. You are willing to continue for Wave. He shouted, "You all have already casted out your fears." The builders looked toward one another. They were willing to defy Gato. For their family and for their future they were willing. They cheered as they returned to their jobs. There was a new vigor in each of their movements. "That was a great motivator," Kid spoke to Zuna. "I just hope it was enough." Wait, what do you mean? "Even with this new energy we already lost a lot of workers." "I have that covered," Naruto stated, forming a cross with his hands. Shadow Clone Jutsu. Tazuna was speechless from what he saw. For every one worker he lost there were 3 Narutos. Maybe more. "Just tell us what we need to do." Naruto was happy. Huibai had worked him into the ground for giving hope instead of fear. Now Naruto was allowed a night of peace. Even as he slept he had felt the others leave. It was a lesson his Haims taught him. Always be prepared and on guard. That was how he knew of the 2 extra signatures that entered the house. "Let go of my mom," cried Inari, and that was how he was aware they were enemies. He was already downstairs. He had concealed himself and observed. One of 2 swordsmen thugs were holding on to a bound Tsunami. The second was making his way toward Inari, drawing his sword. "Stop," Tsunami cried. "If you kill him then I swear I'll bite my tongue." Even these thugs knew that she wasn't bluffing. "Fine," the first said. "You got lucky, kid." The one closest to Inari kicked him down. Much to everyone's surprise he stood back up. Naruto decided it was time to make himself known. "You did good, Inari," he spoke. "Your dad would be proud." "It looks like one of the ninja was left behind," one spoke. "It seems so." Naruto returned calmly. "What will you do now?" "Do?" He asked. "Nothing. We have all the cards." He motioned to Tsunami. "We are leaving and you will stay. Or we start cutting this one," the other threatened, putting his sword at Tsunami. "Cut who?" Naruto asked. The thugs looked at Tsunami. To their surprise she merely faded away. They looked and saw that she was next to Naruto. She was no longer bound and was holding Inari tightly. They drew their swords and took a menacing step forward. "Wait," Tsunami cried. "You want money, right? If I give it to you, will you leave?" The 2 thugs looked at each other. They shared a cruel smile and looked at Tsunami and said, "Sure." Naruto knew it was a lie. It was very obvious. He was also sure that Tsunami could tell it was a lie as well. He decided to see what she had planned. "In that scroll to your side." She pointed it as "Everything we have. It's a ninja tool and all you have to do is open it." The 2 snatched it up and opened it. Inside was a letter. They read the letter out loud for all to hear. "Dear Naruto-kun, we are at the bridge. P.S. Dodge." As they read the last part, a violent stream of kunai shot out. Many of them embedded themselves inside the thugs. They fell down dead. "Mom, how did you know that would work?" asked Inari. "That scroll was from Anko, wasn't it?" Naruto asked. "She added a lot more kunai than usual this time. Anko-san wanted me to give it to you." Tsunami admitted. "She told me how it works so I wouldn't be hurt. Were you really going to give it to me?" That was something he needed to know. "They're waiting for you at the bridge," she said, not answering his question. "Bridge." As Naruto entered the scene he noticed the air was laced with chakra because of the mist. It was much more potent with the extra water. This would make it difficult for Naruto to use his sensor skills that he relied on. He dropped his blindfold so that he could see. He didn't like it. His eyes hindered his sensor skills. He headed toward the closest signatures. They were to the side and by far the weakest. "Hello, Tazuna," he greeted, nearly scaring Tazuna and Sakura to death. "Kid, are you trying to give me a heart attack?" he asked. "Not yet," Naruto spoke, "but I'm so close." "Baka," Sakura started but never finished. "Paralysis jutsu." When Naruto asked, "Don't look at me like that, she's better off this way." He continued motioning to her frozen body. "Now you have a proper meat shield, one that won't run." Tazuna thought it over and admitted he was right. "I can't think of a single thing against that," Tazuna admitted. "So what have I missed so far?" the blonde asked. "The Scarecrow one is fighting Zabuza," Tazuna began. "The Kid and the Snake Lady are fighting against a new enemy in there." He pointed toward an ice dome. "I guess I'll go and save the Uchiha," Naruto stated after a moment of thinking. "What about your girlfriend?" Tazuna asked. "She's inside that thing too." "Who do you think I'm going to save him from?" the blonde asked. Dome. Sasuke was not doing too well. He had so many needles inside of him that he looked like a pin cushion. Anko was doing much better. She had very few needles inside of her, but it could have been worse. She would be doing better if it wasn't for one problem, Sasuke. Why? Because she had to keep saving him from the hail of needles. "Dodge," she shouted, knocking him away as she too jumped away. "If the Uchiha dies, then the council will blame either me or Naruto, if not both. I can't let that happen. Woman, I demand you stop doing that. I am an Uchiha, I do not need someone saving me." "Sorry kid, but I can't have you dying," she stated. "I'm an Uchiha, I don't need saving," he shouted. "Now watch as I end this fight." He began sign weaving. Fire style, fireball jutsu. The flame spread onto the ice mirrors. Anko would have been impressed if she hadn't seen Uchihas his age do the same thing. Soon the flames died down to reveal the damage of fire toward ice. "Nothing. Good job, Gaki," she laughed. "I think I see a stream of water dripping." "Please surrender," Haku pleaded. "There is no need for your deaths." "Ha, you see," shouted Sasuke, "my flame must have done more damage. Now the enemy is weak. Why else would the enemy ask for it to end?" "Yeah, whatever kid," stated Anko. She knew that the enemy was just being merciful. Haku prepared to give off another volley. Anko prepared to tackle the Uchiha to safety. Sasuke prepared for something else. He stepped onto the tail of Anko's jacket. He began to channel chakra like Kakashi had taught him. Soon he had stuck himself and Anko to the ground. This will teach her. As the attack came, Anko prepared to jump. However, she was being held by something. Looking back, she saw the Uchiha's arrogant smirk. The attack came and Anko took the full brunt of it. The needles were in every part of her. Sasuke had used her as a shield. She took another look toward Sasuke. Traitor, she gasped. You should feel honored, he smirked. You get to say that you were of use to an Uchiha, the greatest honor. If there isn't any consolation to this, she spoke with a smirk of her own, it is that you will die along beside me. I'm an Uchiha, he stated. This ice ninja won't be able to kill me. I'm not talking about the ice ninja. She pointed before closing her eyes. Sasuke turned to see what she meant. Entering the ice mirrors was Naruto himself. He had seen the whole thing. Anko-chan, he cried, running to her side. Wake up, Harem, please wake up. All he got was a lifeless limp. He held her as he cried over her. Please give her back to me. Don't take one of my Haims. Make them hurt, spoke a familiar fox. They dared to hurt your mate, your Haim, hurt them both. Yes, they dared to harm her. Use it, the fox continued. Use what I taught you. Use the fear you collected and make them no fear. Naruto looked Haku in the eyes. He needed eye contact for this. He didn't need to see hers, just for her to see his. Shin no Ippo Stage 1. Success. The technique worked. The technique froze her in place. It was temporary, she would break it, but it was enough. Naruto drew his sword. He held it toward his face and looked into his reflected eyes. Using his fox glare, he began. Shin no Ippo Stage 3. He was fear, and fear feared nothing. Over his head, chakra began to form an image of a smiling fox. His hand had dropped. He no longer cared for it. He felt the fear he collected. He let it out as it consumed him in a red aura. It sent him past the peak of his abilities. His power only continued to grow. He would make them suffer. Standing to full height, he stared at the frozen faces before him. His blue eyes were now crimson red. He had a coat of red chakra that seemed to flow around him like a second skin. It was wild and uncontrolled. He looked and saw that they were afraid. It wasn't enough, he wanted them terrified. He wanted them in true despair. You dare touch my Haim, spoke Naruto as his rage and bloodlust grew. You dare hurt my Haim. Out of the way, dope, spoke Sasuke. This is my. Sasuke never finished. Naruto didn't even turn as he kicked him into the mirror behind them, but it didn't stop there. The force of the impact shattered the mirrors. Sasuke sailed straight through it. He landed in a broken heap next to Tazuna and in frozen Sakura. Haku was terrified. This wasn't the same boy she had met in the woods. It was as if he had taken in everything that scared her. Haku saw that he was ready to act. Using her mirrors, she summoned her reflections to appear in each one. As they each pulled their hand back to throw the needles, another hand stopped them, each of them. It was Naruto. He was inside the mirrors behind her, each of them. He easily held her hand as she struggled against him. He grabbed her by the throat with his free hand. She struggled as he forced her to look forward. She was looking at her reflections as they were being restrained as well. How did he get inside? He let go of her throat now that she was looking. He drew his sword and leveled it to her neck. In a flash, he had slashed her throat. She felt the blade give her the fatal blow. She watched as her reflections bled out, waiting for the cut to end her. But it never came, and she opened her eyes. She could see him standing there in the middle of the dome as if he had never moved. That's right. It's only Genjutsu, he can't hurt me. She would stay in her mirrors, she was safe in there, right. It's only Genjutsu. Wrong, he spoke as if reading her thoughts. Just because you're covered in ice doesn't mean you can't be touched. He spread his jacket out and she could see the crimson interior. That wasn't what he wanted her to see. From several points in the jacket, hook chains shot out. They flew straight into the mirror, digging into her flesh. She had never felt such pain as more continued to pierce into her. They pulled, forcing her out of the mirror, each step more painful than the last. They stopped pulling as soon as she was in front of Naruto. She looked him in the eyes and saw something she wished she hadn't. This wasn't the same boy she had met in the woods a few days ago. This was someone who truly wanted to see her suffer. I'm going to tear your mind apart, he whispered, and he was going to make it happen. The chains released her as an invisible force pushed her back. She continued straight through the mirrors just as the Uchiha did. Haku, however, landed between the two battling Jounin. The shock of what happened stopped them mid-battle. They looked toward the one who had caused the interruption. Zabuza couldn't believe it. Haku was down in a bloody heap. The shock was so great that he stopped giving chakra to the mist. This revealed Naruto. The reddish blonde was making his way toward Haku. Zabuza dashed toward Naruto. He wasn't going to let the kid kill Haku on his watch. Raising his massive sword, he brought it down with as much force as he could muster. As a Jounin and master of his sword, that was a lot. Naruto simply raised his hand and caught the blade. He held it between his thumb and fingers. Everyone was in shock. Zabuza tried adding more pressure, but it was futile. Naruto held the blade in a simple but powerful grip. The blade didn't budge an inch. You're in my way, Naruto said. Move. Naruto raised his free, clawed hand. With careful aim, he jabbed at Zabuza, impaling his hand into the older ninja. With strength only a ninja could muster, he raised Zabuza into the air. Without looking around, he tossed the Jounin to the side. He didn't need to look. Zabuza landed in a bush of spikes, each spike impaling him, going straight through to the other side. Even though they stuck through, none of them were fatal. It's like the brat is keeping me alive for some reason. Naruto made his way toward Haku. The fear has been nice, he thought. Now it's time for some despair. Haku looked up and saw a shadowy figure coming toward her. It was Zabuza. He stood over her and raised his sword. Zabuza-sama. She asked, What are you doing? "You're a broken tool, Haku," he stated coldly. "I no longer have any use for you." Haku couldn't believe what she was hearing. The one who gave her any purpose in life was tossing her aside. He was going to kill her. "No, Zabuza-sama," she begged, "not him. It was just like all those years ago. Just like with her father." Zabuza brought his sword down. Haku acted on all of her battle instinct. Using her bloodline, she commanded the water on the bridge. Using her control, she raised ice spears. They impaled Zabuza through different spots, each one a fatal wound. Haku looked in shock at what she had done. "Why, you are a real liar. A defective ... tool," he gasped. He fell limp and dead. "No," she whispered. "No, no, no." She cried, "Zabuza-sama, wake up." She begged. She melted the ice and ran to his body. As she fell on top of it, begging him to live, she heard it. Laughter. She turned to the side and saw the source. "Naruto. He's not dead," he stated, "but it must be nice to know you would have killed him." Haku stared in disbelief. Naruto pointed toward the dead Zabuza. Right before her eyes, he faded away. He then pointed to the real Zabuza, stuck and restrained by spikes. Naruto raised his sword to finish her. "Well, what do we have here?" spoke a new voice, stopping Naruto. It seems the demon of the mist was all talk. "Gato, what are you doing here?" Zabuza asked. "Well, Zabuza, Gato started, it has come to my attention that you are too expensive, so I decided to end our agreement." He looked on the bridge. "Kill the men, the women on her knees is yours to play with." Naruto, who had been ready to kill Haku, was enraged. "She can wait," he thought. "Anko would want me to end filth like him first." Naruto grabbed his sword and took a new stance. It was the one that Kyuubi had taught him. He never used it because it was brutal. Now he would use it without restraint. He eyed each of the bandits. They were all so full of confidence. The arrogance wasn't what he wanted. "Time for more fear. Remember, Kit, you get the blood," the fox reminded, "but I get the glory." His body seemed to convulse as he began to mutate. Fur began to cover half of his face, which became more fox-like. His free hand became claw-like. From his backside 9 glorious tails sprang free. "I suggest you all come and die quickly," Naruto called. "Do it while you still have the chance." These bandits were terrified. Fear makes people do crazy things. The bandits did the craziest thing. They charged Naruto head-on. Naruto charged them as well. Naruto impaled the first victim with his sword. Lifting the body with his sword, he gave a mighty toss. The body crashed, knocking a few over. Naruto ducked under a blade. Standing, he cut the enemy's throat with one swing. One tried to run. Naruto ran after him. Grabbing him by the back of the head, he forced the bandit's mouth open. Reaching his hand in, he began to tug and pull. With little effort, he ripped the top half of the bandit's head off. More tried to run. Naruto charged after them. With a powerful leap, he landed one of the bandit's shoulders. A second later, he jumped again. However, the bandit was missing his head. "Man, I sure know how to get ahead in life," Naruto joked. Two of the closest decided to attack from behind. Their blades made it through and pierced Naruto in the back. He ripped them out. Letting loose his tail, he impaled many that were foolish enough to be behind him. There were several on each one of his tails at a time. He held the bodies high for them to see. Then he tried stabbing and beating him. He would either disappear like a mirage or dodge them. He would then slaughter the attacker before moving to the next. "Why, you're a monster," one bandit shouted. "A demon." "Look at him," another cried. "He's a tailed beast." "Go ahead, count my tails," shouted Naruto. "I want the world to know the number." "Then 9 tails," one shouted. Kyuubi. "Let the world know," shouted Naruto, "that Kyuubi is going to make a comeback." "And no, Kyuubi is dead," Gato shouted. "A ninja killed him." "Wrong," stated Naruto. "Kyuubi is fear, and fear is forever." He looked toward Gato. "You, however, aren't." Naruto turned his gaze toward the bandits. He had gained enough fear for now. "It's time to end this." Soulbane. The jutsu took immediate effect. The bandits were turning on each other. They couldn't tell who was friend or foe. Naruto could have let them go on. Let them kill each other until there were none left. Where would the fun be in that? He jumped into the slaughter. Neither Team 7 or Tazuna, nor Haku or even Zabuza could believe what they were seeing. This was a slaughter. "Haku, what did you do to that kid?" asked Zabuza. I didn't do anything," she stated in equal shock. "It was the Uchiha. He used that woman as a meat shield." "Is she dead?" asked Zabuza. "No, she's just asleep," explained Haku. "Wake her up," ordered Zabuza. "Wake her up now." Haku was already moving toward the body. She began to remove the needles from Anko. Unfortunately, Naruto saw her. "Even in death you won't give her peace," he shouted. Naruto made his way toward Haku. Each step was deliberate, each drawing more fear in. Haku had removed the last of the needles. She was now shaking Anko. "Wake up already," Haku shouted as Naruto stood above her. He raised his sword. 5 more minutes," Anko mumbled. "Heim?" he asked in shock. Anko's eyes snapped open. She looked around as memories began to flood into her head. She looked to the one who had called her. "Naru-chan?" she asked as she took in his appearance. He quickly dropped all Genjutsu and allowed his true form to appear. As he looked into her eyes, he saw many things, but not fear. "She's not afraid," he thought in confusion. It soon turned into happiness. "She's not afraid." Monster came as shout from Gato. "You're a demon." All eyes turned to the forgotten tyrant. He stood in front of a pile of bodies. Only a few were still breathing. Naruto would spare them. They could tell what happened. That would bring in tones of fear for him. The demon of the mist stood. Even though his wound was lethal, he had enough energy to raise his sword. He pointed it toward Gato. "Gato," called Zabuza, "before I die, I'm killing you." With a mighty heave, he sent the blade flying. Gato only smirked. Taking a step to the side, he awaited for the blade to pass him. He noticed Naruto's smile. The blonde mouthed one word. Invert. Invert. He asked what is he talking about. He never received an answer. The blade that was supposed to pass him did. It passed right through him. Now it was lodged inside his midsection. He fell to his knees. He had never felt any pain as excruciating. He had never felt fear so potent. As he looked up, he met eyes with Naruto. Fox glare. He was in a small dungeon. Where am I? He asked to no one. You are in my realm, Naruto said, appearing from thin air, and here I control space, time, and reality. Why am I here? Before you die, Gato, you're going to give me some information, stated Naruto, and then you can die. You won't get squat from me, monster, Gato stated defiantly. Oh, I'll get squat, Gato, he assured. I'll get squat. Burn in hell, Gato shouted. Such a limited imagination, Naruto, to skid down these dark decades of your pain. I'll make that sword and you feel like a memory of pleasure. Gato knew he was trapped. He did the one thing a worm like him could do. He began to cry and beg. Don't cry, Gato, Naruto sighed. It's a waste of good suffering. What are you going to do to me? He asked. I'm going to make you feel everything done to every single person in Wave, Naruto stated coldly. Every last man, woman, and child. He smiled coldly toward the tyrant. I will repeat it over and over again because hell is repetition. Gato had long since been broken. Naruto just wanted him to suffer for his crimes. He repeated the torture over and over again. When Naruto was finished, Gato embraced his death. Said blonde just blinked. Inside hide the fox glare. Years had passed. In reality, only a second passed. Kid, Haku, Zabuza called. Come here a second. Naruto knew Zabuza was dying but was cautious. Even near death he was dangerous. He just tossed that sword half a bridge away. Yes, they asked. I'm dying, he stated calmly. He accepted his death. No, Zabuza-sama, Haku protested. We can get you help. From where? The man asked. I accept my fate. I just have a single request for the both of you. Whatever it is, Zabuza-sama. I want you to take my sword. He ushered to Naruto and Haku. Wait, you want me to do what? Naruto asked. I don't care what you do with the sword. He stated. Sell it, give it away, or even gamble it away. Zabuza-sama, you can't. I can and did. He stated. I want you to go with this boy. As you wish, she stated. I can save you, Zabuza. Naruto stated. You can continue to live. What's the catch? 3 things, he stated. The first, I want you two to come with me to Konoha and become ninjas. The second, I want you to free Haku. She should make her own choices. And the third, asked Zabuza. I want that rabbit. Naruto shouted. I need that rabbit stew. Deal. Naruto drew his blade and cut himself across the arm. It was deep enough so that the blood flowed freely but not lethal. To him. He held his arm and allowed it to fall into Zabuza's mouth. The battle was over. Naruto had saved Zabuza, Haku, and his Harem. They would be coming back with them to join Konoha. Now Naruto just wanted to be with his Hebai Harem, to enjoy the fact that she was alive. Naruto Anko asked in his arms. What are you thinking about? There was, however, one problem. I killed them. He stated. I just killed every last one of those bandits. The guilt of their first kill. Naruto, she spoke. I know exactly how you feel. Everyone has it after their first kill. Although so few ninja have ever killed on such a large scale. Do they enjoy it? He asked tonelessly. Anko had no answer. The only one she could think of was her sensei. There has to be an explanation. I know for a fact that Naruto isn't a monster. Naruto, I heard that you used technique after I was knocked, she stated. It was a Genjutsu that I learned from. He hesitated. He never told them from the Kyuubi. He felt her tense in his arms. He could feel a bit of nervousness creep deep into her. He did not enjoy it. What does it do? She asked. It has 3 stages, he explained. The first traps them in a paralysis of fear. The second is more potent. It freezes the victim's lungs. And the third? She asked. When used on a user, it increases them to their maximum potential. He stated. It allows me to use Kitsune illusions and other Genjutsu without restraints. That's it? She asked, losing hope. It helps in my merge ... with Kyuubi. He trailed off. That was the answer. He wasn't a monster. Naruto, that jutsu practically turns you into a new Kyuubi, she stated. I don't want you to use unless necessary. Okay, he agreed. He would have agreed to anything at that moment. A thought occurred. Did someone ever free Sakura from that Genjutsu? Who cares? She asked. Bridge. Citizens of Wave shouted. Tazuna, the bridge is complete. Cheers flowed from every citizen. They were directed to the one standing by Tazuna. What will you name it? Asked one citizen. How about we name it after the true hero? He asked. How about the great Naruto Bridge? Sasuke, who had stepped forward, expecting the glory, stood in disbelief. They want to name it after the dobe. Over me, a new Chiha. Hey, you shouldn't name it after that baka, shouted Sakura. You should name it after Sasuke-kun, he's much better. I will not name the Bridge of Our Hope after that traitor, spat Tazuna. He heard what happened. Your Uchiha isn't nearly as great as Naru-chan, chided Anko. This got shouts of protest from Sakura. Tazuna spoke. Kakashi from his book. It would seem that you're playing favorites? That wouldn't be fair. That is the pot calling the kettle black. Everyone, though, it would be better to name it something else. Who likes the name I gave? Asked Tazuna to the citizens. His answer was an ocean of cheers from the citizens. The name stays, he stated to Kakashi. Let's go. They made their way back to the village hidden in the leaves.